All right, are we good? Are we live? I think we are. Hello all and welcome back to the Women's Football Chat Live. Today we're back with Nations League action as the Lionesses prepare to face Belgium for the second time in a matter of 4 days. It's been a good Nations League period. We've seen a lot of action already tonight. Spain putting 6 past Portugal. We're not even at the hour mark yet. Germany 1-0 down at half-time to Scotland. Went on to win 6-1. Lots of 6-0 wins. Could England go one better than Friday night and win 6-0 tonight, Harry?
Yeah, as you say, England will be hoping to follow in the footsteps of the other European giants and put a few goals past this Belgium side tonight, but I don't think it'll be as easy as that. Belgium were point to prove on home soil. They were torn apart, really, by England on Friday night, and they'll hope to play better in front of their home fans to potentially get some points on the board. But for Belgium tonight, it's all about the performance. For England, it's all about the result, sitting pretty at the top of the Nations League table going into tonight, but do need a win to keep the pace with Spain, who, as you say, are absolutely dismantling Portugal currently. So England, they want to hold on to that top spot. They want to keep the performances going. Basil's in great spirits away in Belgium. What more could you want on a Tuesday night?
Exactly, that is what we love to see. It's good to see the Lionesses playing good football. We spoke in our review of Friday's game, and the preview for today's game. We spoke in that video about how England have been a bit stagnant over the last year, actually since the Euros in 2022, so the last 3 years. But the performance on Friday, and the performances in general from England 2025, I think are very encouraging.
Yeah, just to put into perspective where England are at, October 2023 was Belgium versus England in the Nations League, and that was 3-2 to Belgium on a night where the likes of Fran Kirby scored for England. England lost that game. So to turn up a year and a half later and beat that side 5-0 is very, very encouraging. And again, same situation tonight. Go out, prove how far England have come, prove how well they've played in 2025, and deliver another top performance with a few goals and a clean sheet.
Yeah, definitely so. Phillies watching the stream says, evening gents, Scotland had a great 45 minutes tonight. Indeed, if only that game had ended at half-time, Scotland fans would be very happy. Let's look, though, at the teams for tonight. There are lots of interesting selection on the part of Serena Wiegman, but we'll start with the hosts, Belgium. In goal, a changing goal from the side that placed England on Friday night. Nikki Everard dropping out of the side with Lichtfuss coming in to replace her. In the back three, it's Deleuze, Amber Tisiak and Janice Kamen. Then across the four, it's Janssens, Van Havermet, Toylings and Filtians. And then a front line, Tessa Willier coming back into the side alongside De Troyer and Erlings. Strong team.
Yeah, it is a strong team. I'd expect De Troyer to be playing as that midfield three, and it's a similar system as a 3-5-2 to what we saw on Friday, but you never know. I think that, again, they'll look to try and do the same thing, pack that midfield out, win that midfield battle, but quite a lot of rotation in there, especially in the defensive department, which makes sense. We see Iliano drop out, who played on Friday. Masipo played as part of that midfield three. She drops to the bench as well. So for Belgium, understandably so, when you lose 5-0, when you lose in the manner that they did on Friday, you're going to make changes across the park. That's exactly what has happened tonight, and they'll be hoping that that can make the difference. I'm not saying that those changes mean they're going to win 5-0, but at least try and make the result more competitive and put up a bit more of a fight. They had to change something, and they've decided to change personnel.
Yeah, definitely so. And let's then look at the visiting Lionesses. 4-3-3 as always for England. In goal, it's Hannah Hampton again. She started both games in this international break. In the back four, Bronze, Williamson, Bright and Charles unchanged from the side on Friday night. In the middle three, it's Clinton, Walsh and Jess Park. And a front line then of Mead, Paris and Aggie Beaver-Jones. So Russo pulling out through injury. Toon rotated out of the side. Lauren James pulling out through injury. Strong team, though, for England. Good to see some different players given opportunities, Harry.
It is, and it's good to see some rotation in the side. As you say, majority of those changes are forced, but it's good to see, Beaver-Jones and Park rewarded for their substitute appearances where they both came on and scored on Friday.
Well, Aggie in particular really shot.
Yeah, it is a rotated side, and it's good to see, but why isn't it more rotated? We're seeing the exact same back four. Two of the three in midfield are still the same, so again, it asks the question, why are you bringing all these players to just not play them at all? It's not like you've got poor rotation players. You've got Letitia and Millie Turner, for example, who have been part of the two starting centre halves in the best defence in the WSL this season. Why have neither of them been given a start over this international break? It's really bizarre. It's good to see rotation in that attacking department and good to see some rotation players getting the opportunity. But my question is why aren't we seeing more changes in this starting 11? Yes, fair enough. If we'd struggled on Friday and only won 1 or 2-0, or if we'd end up drawing or got a poor result from the game, then fair enough. But the fact that we already know the England strongest 11 can batter Belgium, we don't need to see that again. Give an opportunity, especially in that defensive department, to some more players.
Yeah, I think obviously those changes in the front line forced through injury, but at least we do see those changes there. And again, there is nothing that Serena could have done to pick up our favourite players. But I agree with what you're saying. I think for England tonight, we're not learning anything. We're learning that England's team is good. Yeah. We knew that already. But yeah, I think with the Euros coming up, we still don't know who would be our backup to Kira Walsh if she was to be injured, because Stanway is not fit yet. Ruth Mace won't be available this summer because she's got an ACL injury. And Laura Blinker-Brown couldn't really play that position anyway, but is also out injured. So in the hypothetical scenario that we go into summer and Stanway isn't back yet, we don't have a backup to Kira Walsh because we've not given anyone a go. And Maisie Simmons has sat on the bench tonight again, and it feels weird to me that she's not given an opportunity in the side. Or play someone like Williamson in there. Or play Letizia in there. I don't understand the decision to just keep it all the same in the defensive area. So I agree with you on that one. Let's talk Hannah Hampton then. England, Wiegman picking Hampton for Friday and tonight. Does that show perhaps where the thinking is with the number 1 shirt?
Yeah, I think so. As you say, over the last few international breaks, we've seen Mary Earps take one, Hannah Hampton take the other game. But the fact that Hampton starts both games in this international break would, I think it speaks volumes. It says to me that Hampton is now that favoured number 1, which I think is fair enough. That's what we expected, and that looks to be the decision that Wiegman's made. So going into the Euros, it looks like Hannah Hampton will be England's starting goalkeeper, which is a big moment for her, and credit to her. Her performances have warranted that. It's no discredit on Mary Earps. She's still a phenomenal goalkeeper, but Hannah coming in as that number 1, it's good to see. I mean, I don't really mind, to be honest, from an England point of view, who they play. Both goalkeepers are brilliant, but I think it's just good to see Serena has made a decision. We're not still rotating. She's still not making her mind up. She's been cutthroat about that. She's made a decision, and that finally that saga, that bit of drama for England is definitely sorted going into the big tournament.
Yeah, definitely so. Lucky says, or at least it's that way. Lucky says, "Hey lads, we're in trouble with LJ's hamstring. Why?" Well, a player who is quite prone to injuries has played continuously throughout the last month. She played all of the Chelsea City games, and then we're surprised she's injured. She shouldn't have gone international duty.
Yeah.
Quite simply, we've got to be smart in that situation. I get that she wants to play for England, and she looked really good on Friday night, but it's got to be a conversation that goes the back half of the season. The running is way more important than a Nations League game against Belgium, which England would have won comfortably whether she was there or not. That for me has been the biggest surprise of not seeing Chelsea players pull out before the internationals. Instead, 6 started on Friday night, and obviously Beaver Jones came off the bench, and 6 start tonight. That is a problem for Chelsea because the players that should be getting a rest have played continuously throughout this international break.
Yeah, and that's the thing, as you say. I think clubs have got to be smart about it. I do agree. I think I saw a great point being made today that there's a reason in the men's game they have scrapped the April international break, because in the run-in it massively affects teams.
Yeah.
Because we're going into the run-in now where Arsenal have had Russo and Kelly pick up injuries, Chelsea have had Lauren James pick up and Micah Marlowe pick up injuries, Cherry Holland had a bad injury for Wales, so she's out for Liverpool as well, and that's the list does go on. So it's
well, it reflects badly both ways because players aren't going to give 100% because they don't want to get injured.
No.
And so you end up with games that are less competitive. I mean, you've only got to look at some of the games this evening to see that just the competition isn't there. Portugal-Spain supposed to be a top-level game. Spain have just had a 7th.
I mean, that's incredible.
And they've just hit the 60-minute mark. So I find it that there is such a problem now. I don't understand why we have this April international break. I agree with you there. I think give the players a rest.
Yeah, the scheduling of all the international breaks is horrendous. We've got one now. We've got one after the domestic season's over before a major international tournament. Yeah. It's a complete mess, and it could massively impact team seasons because if Arsenal now go into the end of the season and Russo and Kelly aren't fully firing, that could pay massive dividends on their successes.
But also for smaller sides who have players who perhaps aren't going on international duty, they will have this weekend where they don't have a game.
Yeah.
So they're not playing. They'll have next weekend, FA Cup semi-final weekend, where they don't have a game. They may not have a game the weekend after because it's the Women's Champions League and they may clash with an Arsenal or Chelsea in there. In the case of Leicester or Crystal Palace, for example, they may not have a game the weekend after. You end up with a really patchy schedule to fit it all in.
Yeah.
And it feels like that could just be managed in a much better way.
Yeah.
By not having an April international break for no reason.
Yeah, that's the thing. The Nations League is a competitive tournament. It's one everyone wants to win, but at the end of the day, it's never going to take priority over the domestic seasons and the end of the club calendar. So it's a shame to see that it could potentially have a massive impact. As you say, the sides at the bottom could value massively because, say, Crystal Palace come up against a very tired, bigger side in the next couple of weeks, they could end up nicking a result that keeps them in the league. And I'm not, obviously, that would be deserved. They go out and beat a big side, fair enough. But, you know, if they do come against, you know, Chelsea, for example, in that midweek in a few weeks' time, if Chelsea massively rotate and Palace get a result, that could influence their season and that massively affect the future of Palace and Aston Villa just because Chelsea may have to rest in that game. I know it's very hypothetical because Chelsea will probably still put out a second string side and win 4-0, but it's, you know, it's the thought that, you know, it's a possibility. It's something that has to be thought about going into these fixtures.
Yeah, definitely so. Anyway, we are here now. We have got some international football to watch. We've got an England game. Let's get excited for it. Predictions then. We'll start here in the studio, but do get involved in the live chat with your predictions. Harry, how do you think this game's going to pan out?
I think that Belgium will play better than they did on Friday. I think they'll put up a better fight, but at the end of the day, the strength of England will just be too much for them to handle. I don't think it'll quite be 5. I'll go 3-0 to England. I think that it'll be a pretty dominant first half, but lacks any goals. But in the second half, I will go goals from... I think Aguilar Jones will get another one. I think Grace Clinton will score. And the third one will be Nikita Paris to seal another solid win for England, a good performance, and another 3 points.
Yeah, I said 3-0. When we did our preview on Monday, I don't want to go the same as you though because that's boring. So I'm going to go 4-0 now. It's the same I predicted on Friday, and if we could have another result like Friday, that would be very enjoyable. So yeah, Philly's going 4-1 England. Lucky's saying 3-1. Lucky also asking, so who plays at left wing for Chelsea then? Ryzen suggests Baltimore with Charles at left back. Well, we could just do the same thing that England are doing to fix the problem. That's put Beaver Jones there. Yeah. I mean, obviously Guro will be back hopefully by the time we face the second leg. With any luck, Lauren Jones' injury is not as serious as it looks, and she'll be back. But we just have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah, Chelsea got options. They'll find there's many solutions to that problem. As much as Lauren James is a good player, Chelsea aren't suddenly now at a crisis.
Yeah, Chelsea aren't short on good players.
No, exactly that, and neither are England, and that's why tonight, without Lauren James, without Alessia Russo, they can bring in players who I think it's a really good opportunity. Beaver Jones was brilliant off the bench on Friday. Great chance for Nikita Paris. I think she did superb when she came on against Spain at Wembley a few months ago. But tonight, leading the line, starting as that number 9 for England once again, rolling back the years. Hopefully, it'd be nice to see her get involved in the goals tonight because I think she's a top player. She had a top season. She's had to fight her way back into this England squad over the last couple of years. She's got here deservedly. She deservedly starts today as well. A great chance for her to impress and show to everyone why she should be in this England squad and why she is in this England squad.
Yeah, well, exactly. I think an incredibly talented player, as you say. Someone who's worked really hard over the last year. I think her efforts for Brighton earlier in the season have gone unnoticed really in the second half of the campaign because Brighton have dropped off. Her output's also dropped off. And so, I think she's caught a little bit of flack for that. And again, it's difficult to determine where the fault lies there. But I think both. She's had a really good season. I think she deserves to be in this squad. The question going into the Euros, though, is that provided the other attackers are fit, there won't be room for both Beaver Jones and for Nikita Paris. So that is a really difficult conversation, and both players have been really good this season.
Yeah,
and so then uncomfortable conversations start because Chloe Kelly offers you a lot on her day, and she has looked much better in an Arsenal shirt, but has she had a good enough season? And that's a difficult question. Sarah says, I miss Chloe Kelly. Yes, I understand that. I think it's a shame she wasn't involved in this international break because she's been in really good form for Arsenal. I think if you put her into this international break where she's coming in good form, I think she'd provide for England. I think she'd be solid for England. So it's frustrating then because she got minutes in the last one where she hadn't played for 2 months, didn't look sharp, didn't really offer anything.
Yeah.
I think it would have been better to see her in this England setup where she is looking sharp.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate timing that she picked up the injury, and yeah, as you say, it'd been nice to see her feature in this international break. But again, England, they've got options. Obviously, it was Jess Naz called up in her place, Michelle Aguiman called up in the place of Russo. 2 opportunities for those two.
Well, that one I don't get.
On the bench. Who?
Michelle Aguiman, because she's not going to the Euros.
She's not, I think.
And she will be playing in the under-19s Euros.
Well, that's
so
the
why
thing.
not keep her in the under-19 squad?
Yeah, at the end of the day, they won 10-0 today, so they coped without her. And
Just about.
yeah, and I think that she was at St George's Park anyway, so it just made sense for her to come to Belgium with England.
But if she plays tonight, that's a waste of a sub in my opinion. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Both player taking the knee in a stand against all forms of discrimination, and it will be England, the visitors, to get us started here in Leuven. Paris knocks it back, and we're underway. Back to Millie Bright and England in UEFA Women's Nations League action once again. And that's a ball going forward from Bright. England looking to make a fast start here. Flicked on well by Bronze. Mead nods it in behind. And Belgium will see that out just about there, Amber Tissiak, for a goal kick.
Yeah, defensively, Belgium have got to play better tonight. I think Tissiak, I mentioned on Friday, she's a player that I think blows hot and cold, both on the international and domestic stages. We've seen her have some brilliant games for West Ham, but we've also seen her have some absolute howlers. So again tonight, I think she needs a better performance. I think that taking out Iliano was a good idea to bring in Deleuze. So yeah, Deleuze. So I think that it makes sense. And now we're hoping that they can be a little bit stronger, a little bit better structurally, and just defend that 18-yard box much better than they did on Friday.
Yeah, Charlie onto the string, going 4-1 England. Yi Chen saying hello as well. Good to see you, Yi Chen. Sarah asked, do you think we'll win the Euros?
That's the $1 million question right now, really, isn't it?
Indeed.
And that's one is you always want to say yes, but Spain are currently 7-0 up after an hour.
Yeah, but then they don't just get to play Portugal at the Euros.
They don't, but I don't get what Portugal are doing. I'm gonna can't wait to watch that game back and wonder what on earth happened there, because for those who are wondering, that it was Spain won 4-2 against Portugal on Friday, so the fact they're 7-0 up now.
The comeback is on. Beatriz Fonseca.
7-1. Here we go. Game on.
I know.
But yeah, I think that you do sometimes have to look past this is why these back-to-back games are so weird. And I'm intrigued to see what we're going to watch tonight between Belgium and England, because they throw up some random results. How you can be competitive with the same opposition once and then get absolutely tanked by them next is really bizarre. England have got to hope that doesn't have the reverse effect tonight.
Yeah, my other frustration, by the way, regarding the Nations League, is that it's kind of just ruining the Euros for me. Because Spain's Euro group has Portugal in it and has Belgium in it. By the time we get to the Euros, we'll have seen them play each other twice.
We would have, but we haven't learned anything. Because we've seen that Portugal can make it really competitive and take the game to them.
Or they could get tanked.
Yeah, so what we'd have no idea what's going to happen when we get to the Euros.
But that's the problem with playing the Nations League, is we've already seen those games. There's nothing that doesn't. It takes away the special nature of the Euros.
Yeah, and Spain kind of now have clearly found a way to just get past Portugal.
Yeah, and Belgium. And we've seen that. We know that now.
Yeah.
Bring back to England San Marino.
Bring that in national friendlies.
22-0. It was only 5 years ago, wasn't it, that England beat Latvia 17-0 at Wembley, something like that?
Ridiculous.
Those are the days. Ball in behind here from Belgium. And Tessa Williat here bearing in on goal. And a chance now for Belgium. It's in, and Belgium leads it. A quick counter. And it's a Belgium goal. Tessa Williat on the break. And it's Belgium 1, England 0. And that is a very fast start for Belgium. England switch off defensively. Ball played in behind. And it's Tessa Williat, who then sorely missed on Friday night, coming up with a goal in this game.
Yeah, absolutely massive. It's been a bit of a nothing start, but Belgium, a brilliant reaction from the 5-0 loss on Friday. And we said that they just didn't have an outlet. They had no one to play off. The amount of times on Friday night they'd clear the ball and England would just bring it down and just be able to play football once again. It's a great ball over the top. And this time, they've got a player for aim for. And I tell you what, that is a lovely finish to find that bottom corner. And Belgium hit England fast hit. Unexpectedly fast. But that's what you've got to do sometimes. When it is a nothing start, you take advantage and you get yourself a goal ahead. And after showing no threat whatsoever on Friday, that is a brilliant reaction from the home side.
It's a bit of disorganisation there. It's really well timed, the run from Tessa Williott. But the reason that Millie Bright's in no man's land is because Niamh Charles is in no man's land. Charles has stepped off of the back line, and that means that there is space in behind.
Yeah. And again, we see the same problems. England in a foot race as well, especially Millie Bright, is going to lose that every time, especially to a top attacker like Williott.
Yeah, exactly. Phil says she's a good player. My 4-1 prediction's still on, at least. Very true.
Yeah, well, not the ideal start for England, but they will get. They haven't really got started.
It's the worst possible start.
Yeah, it's a terrible start, but England won't be they won't be concerned by it. I don't think too much.
Mead whips the ball in, and that's headed away in there by Tisiak. Not dealt with yet by Belgium. Bright tries to put it back in there. England will recycle this ball. Walsh. And now Mead. Again lifts it inside. Beaver Jones brings it under her control but loses it. And now Belgium will look to play it out. Just going down the line. But that'll give England settled possession once again.
Yeah, I think set pieces going to be key again. England was superb. We had picked up 7 corners in the first half on Friday. And I think that could be absolutely key. Not only directly from the set pieces, but the way that England recycled the ball. The first goal came because the corner was cleared and then they managed to recycle it and get the ball back into the box for Lucy Bros to score. And the second goal came directly from the corner kick. So England have shown already that they are very, very strong in the air, very strong from set pieces. Again, that's something they've got to look to target tonight.
Yeah. And if we think back to the time these two sides met before, you mentioned in the Nations League when England lost 3-2 to Belgium. In that game, it was Tessa Williott who scored a brace.
Yeah, she's a top player. She can make a difference, and I think England have been caught out by that slightly.
Yeah. Charles, almost caught in possession, does manage to fashion a pass back to Millie Bright. Now Leah Williamson. Walsh, that was a clear foul, but advantage played as England looked to bring the ball forwards. Mead drills a pass across, headed on by Park. Odd pass choice there from Beth Mead to just ping that at the head of Jess Park.
Yeah, I think she switched it without even looking and just hoping that she'll pick out Aggie Beaver-Jones perfectly on that left-hand side, not knowing that Beaver-Jones has kind of just dropped in a little bit. But yeah, just didn't look at that at all. Just played it and hoped for the best.
Yeah, and France have finally got a goal against Norway as well, which means we have a team qualified for the Nations League finals.
Wow. Well done, France.
Because it's France on 12, Norway on 4, Iceland on 3, Switzerland on 2.
And although that seems meaningless, it does mean that the 2 games in June before the Euros, France can just throw away. They don't need to worry about who they're playing in that match. Whereas the likes of England and Spain are going to have to rock up to those summer internationals in the Nations League, and if they want to get through to the semi-finals, they're going to have to play their best teams. They've got to play each other. So that's big for France to already be through. It could be key for them.
Yeah, indeed. And it just got the fortunate situation that they got Iceland and Switzerland, 2 sides who, while they'll both be at the Euros this summer, aren't incredibly strong.
Yeah.
And they got Norway, who have been on a downward spiral. And they were helped out by the fact that those 3 teams I've mentioned decided just to draw all of their games.
Yeah.
Chance now for England as they win the ball high up the pitch. Here is Beaver Jones. Twisting and turning here, looking to fashion a cross. It's headed away. Falls for Nikita Paris, who takes aim. It's blocked. And that is now smashed clear by Deleuze.
And this is something England got really good at, was when Belgium were clearing the ball, just pouncing on it. Belgium really struggled to get out, and this is better from England, just keeping that pressure on Belgium, not letting them get out of their own half.
Yeah, and if you can keep those waves of pressure crashing against the Belgium defence, then erosion will take place.
Wow. Geography, yeah.
I was going to say, who saw that coming? Jess Park. And that is one back there by Belgium. They'll look to play out again. England will keep the ball and look to recycle it. Williamson finds Walsh in the pocket. But now Belgium win it back and look to break. That's well flicked on there by Williott, but no one up there in support.
Yeah, again, Belgium, they're doing how to find that. I mean, you can see they've sat into their 5-4-1.
Yeah,
just
they will.
Happy to let England have the ball.
Oh, it's not going over the halfway line.
No.
Bronze, that is a strange decision there to back heel. Left Mead and Bronze not on the same wavelength there.
No.
That's one back, though, well by Park. Plays it down the channel. Paris will struggle to get there, though, and it's not back to the goalkeeper by Amber Tissiak. And now Belgium can play down this left-hand side. Pass inside. Williat holds it up well. Gets a pass out to the right flank. Janssens has options ahead of her. Will dart inside with purpose and poise. Van Havermet. Now Janice Kamen. Williat, who's got back in now. And that's a nice ball in behind. Looking for Janssens. Charles will look to just see it out, but she has to take a touch. And now she can play it out. Ball down the line, though, will be a Belgian one. And that is a poor touch from Janssens, and that has gifted England possession again.
Yeah, wrong idea there. Deleuze has just absolutely smashed it at her, and for her to bring that down on the byline like that would have been very, very difficult. On the sideline like that would have been very, very difficult. But better from Belgium. They're showing some threat, which is better than none. And you know, that's what they were looking for. I said at the start, for Belgium today it was about performance. For England it was about, well, both, but more the result, the 3 points. But really good stuff from Belgium. They look much, much more positive. They've given their home fans something to cheer about already, and they'll be hoping that they can just look to build on that.
You just I'd love to see Myra play, wouldn't we all? Just for some reason, not rated by Serena Wiegman higher than the players who are in this side, or at least high enough to get an opportunity. That's brilliant from Lucy Bronze. It's not a foul.
Yeah, it's a soft one.
Pilchins there knows what she's doing, gets her body in between. That's Erling, sorry. Gets her body in between Bronze and the ball, and falls over.
Yeah, Bronze.
There's very little contact.
Yeah, Bronze just catches it. It's smart defending. There's not really much Lucy Bronze can do about it. Yeah. And actually, in a lot of pain is Yearlings. A player who really didn't have an impact on Friday night. As I said, Belgium struggled, have no outlet up there. Wouliet clearly making the difference already. And again, it's a good finish. They did just really hard to get into that position. The ball is perfect. But once you're there, you've got to find the bottom corner, and she did so expertly.
And players of that calibre, who are that consistent, you tend to notice their absence more than their performance.
Yeah.
And actually, I think we saw that on Friday night. Belgium lacked a presence up front. But tonight, they've got that again. And Wouliat, who is always reliable, always dependable for Belgium, comes into the side tonight and, unsurprisingly, notches up a goal. Yeah,
and it helps to have an out-and-out striker on the pitch as well. They started on Friday with Yearlings, who's a left winger, and Tolobu, who's a mid-midfielder.
Yeah.
So I think they'll just be happy to have a number 9 leading the line. And again, pays dividends. They find the back of the net. That's really well, nicely moved by Belgium. Lovely little combination.
Into Wouliat wide, into Erlings. Looks to come inside. And she'll switch the focus of this attack. Cut out there by Charles. Now Aggie Beaver-Jones. Beaver-Jones will be forced backwards. Bright will carry the ball. Now Williamson. England making up yards here. As Belgium settle back into their defensive shape. Williamson with a long floating ball looking for Beaver-Jones. And it does find Aggie Beaver-Jones. Holds it up nicely. Slots into Park. Park through to Paris. Nice football from England. Slight deflection slowed it down. England forced to turn back. Charles. Ball into the box. Park will look to keep it alive. Allows the ball to run to Bronze. Swings it into the area. That is cleared away there by Deleuze.
That's better for Belgium, though. Stopping that cross. But again, England causing issues.
Depending than we saw on Friday night. Grace Clinton brought down on the edge there. Referee says no issue with that tackle. And now Belgium will look to break. And it's Wouliat again. One-on-one with Bright. Wouliat, step over. Looks to take it to the right. Bright stands her up. And a good job there from Millie Bright. Stood her up well. Made a tackle when she needed to. Made the block when she needed to. Out now for a Belgium corner.
Yeah, well, watch that by Millie Bright. But England doing well, causing threat in wide areas once again. But Clinton there just didn't get the shot off. It's a great tackle on the edge of our own area from Van Havermet. And then Belgium springing forward on that counter-attack. Now they've got someone leading that charge. They do look dangerous on that counter. That is something England have got to kind of adjust to and realise is happening in this game. And just be wary of that threat.
Here is Williert in towards the back post. That one's floating and over the bar.
Yeah, it's not a bad corner. Right idea towards the back post. Tisiak though heads over. But again, it's a danger area where you want to put that set piece.
Well, yeah, Belgium should have threat from those situations. You look at some of the players in this Belgium side; they're hardly a small team.
No.
Williert, Van Havermet, even Janice Kamen and Matisiak, they're players you'd expect to be able to offer threat from a set piece. That's a poor pass from Beth Mead, and Belgium in a good position now. Erlings cuts inside well. Welsh overcommitted, cuts it towards the edge of the box. Beaver Jones coming in and dealing with it.
Yeah, Yerlings does everything right here. It's really good stuff down the left-hand side. Picks the pass off Beth Mead. Does well to just clip past one, but the pass of Van Havermet wasn't good enough.
And a casual foul there from Lucy Bronze, and Belgium with a free kick and a chance to swing this ball into the area.
Yeah, again, Yerlings and Bronze coming to blows. Very similar foul as well. Bronze just tripping her up from behind. And, as you say, a good area now for Belgium to try and add to their 1-goal lead. Yes, just another silly one. Bronze just nibbling away at the ankles of Yerlings and just catches her. And another Belgium free kick, another foul, won by Yerlings.
Indeed, 2 Belgian players over this then. And it will be swung into the area, headed on goal and headed into the back of the net. And Belgium go from 1 to 2, doubling their advantage through Van Havermet. England too casual defensively, and they're caught out again. Justine Van Havermet heading home. Belgium 2, England 0.
Wow, what a start for Belgium. Brilliant response, and we were speaking about that aerial threat. It's another casual and silly free kick given away. It's a brilliant delivery from Wulier onto the head of Van Havermet, and with her height and with her heading accuracy, she can just stand there and it just glances off her forehead and sails past Hannah Hampton. And England, after a perfect performance on Friday night, have turned up tonight and are all over the place. It's lazy, it's casual, and Belgium are taking full advantage of that. They've responded really well. England have just not been good enough to start this game, and they deservedly lead 2-0.
Yeah, it was a silly foul from Lucy Bronze to give away the free kick, and then when it came into the box, really poor aerial defending from Leah Williamson. Just got nudged off too easily by Van Havermet.
Well, that's the thing, is Van Havermet was very number 9, like the way she's kind of snuck herself in there between Brighton and Williamson, and no one's really challenged her with
That's
the
a
header.
brilliant fight from Nikita Paris, who then didn't even realise that she'd won the ball.
I think she's
out now for
probably
England's
gone out.
try.
But really good battling up there from Paris. England just have not got going yet tonight. Really poor stuff. And again, we speak about building momentum and building on each performance as we get closer and closer to the Euros. This has been a terrible start and miles off anything we've seen across the last couple of games.
Mead, now Williamson. You do just wonder if complacency's crept into the England players here. I mean, that is seemingly the only plausible explanation for the result at hand here. And England's looking open once again here defensively. Williert.
But again, it begs the question of
Give and
rotation.
go. Yeah.
Better from Charles, but again, it draws massive questions, because if you rotate that England 11, especially defensively, you bring players who who aren't as tired, they've got more energy. As you talk about that complacency and that effort level, if you're someone like Letitia Turner and you get the start tonight, you're going to give it 110%, because you know this is a very good opportunity for you. For the likes of Brighton Williamson, they don't want to be risking it. They're probably playing at 60-70%. And problem is that's just not going to be good enough.
Yeah.
So again, it begs the question: just freshen up that 11, especially defensively.
Justin with a lot of confusion over the results. 7-1 down Spain, indeed.
What a
That's the
bonkers night.
ruthlessness
I mean,
that we wanted to see this evening. That's what we saw on Friday night, and this has been night and day. That is offside, though. Williert thought she was in again.
well, double headers do usually spit up bizarre results. I mean, tonight has been an absolute, flurry of strange games.
CW says this is clearly Chelsea players want out of these massive minutes to go home and prepare for games that matter, unlike this one. Yeah, and then that's the problem. We spoke earlier about how it's stupid that we've got an international break in April because players aren't going to give it their all. They've got a run in now to think about. And while UEFA will try and put importance on the Nations League and still try and maintain relevance of the Olympics, they're not the focal points now.
No.
The Nations League never has been, and the Olympics, while it has been a prestigious competition in the women's game, I think is losing that shine.
Yeah.
So there isn't much at stake.
Yeah, I think as well.
Compared to what is at stake for them in their club sides.
Yeah, I see. But yeah,
and also for the Euros. The Euros is this summer. These players don't want to get injured for the running, but they also don't want to get injured for the Euros.
Yeah.
Because that's the priority.
I think at this point, if you get an injury for 1-2 months, you're a massive concern to not be going to that tournament. Yeah. If you right now, if you're an England player and you pick up a 2-month injury, yes, you wouldn't be injured at the time of the Euros, but are you going to be fully fit? Are you going to be able to turn off that Euros and give it 110%? Why risk it in a game that you expect to win anyway? Why did Charles and Bright get caught out for the first goal? Because again, they're not. It's not 110%. Why is Lucy Bronze committing fouls consistently? Because it's not 110%.
Yeah, indeed. CW, I think your comment extends beyond Chelsea players. So I think it's the case for all the England players. And you've got Arsenal players on the pitch. You've got a Champions League semi-final to be thinking about, an FA Cup. Not FA Cup for Arsenal, sorry. FA Cup though for City and United. This weekend. Arsenal Champions League the weekend after.
You got Grace Clinton out there who, again, he's focusing on the FA Cup semi-final, focusing on the fact that they're still in a massive fight for the
Bronze
top 4.
Ball into the box. Chance flickers away. Here is Charles. Now Walsh.
Because you notice it on the flip side as well. Who are the players giving the most energy at the moment? It's Beaver Jones who isn't a consistent starter. It's Nikita Paris, which starting for England for the first time in a while, and it's Jess Park, who Man City haven't got anything to fight for.
Yeah, Bronze goes down the box there. Looked to be caught. It wasn't a huge amount of contact, and not given.
Yeah, there's plenty of time. There's no need to overreact. England will grow into the game. They'll get into the game, and they will start to play better, hopefully. But just a really slow start. I mean, that is a penalty.
Yeah.
But we'll ignore that. I'm surprised there wasn't a stronger protest from anyone in an England shirt. Bronze just get cleaned out.
Yeah, but what's the... I get the initial process. That's a clumsy one from Millie Bright. But again, there's a huge delay there.
Yeah.
Referee didn't make a decision. It was only once the players complained.
Yeah. England just all over the place. And it's leading for a disappointing evening so far. But credit to Belgium, and that is the other thing. To be, I think people react to this and go, well, we beat them 5-0 on Friday, so how on earth are we losing? We must be rubbish. This is a much better Belgium display. They were horrendous on Friday night.
A mixture of things. The fact that England aren't as much up for this one as they were for the Friday night game, but also Belgium getting better.
I mean, they've improved massively.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see them get into England's penalty area.
Alex says fans will have excuses because Russo, Stanway, Hemp, James, Kelly and Greenwood are missing. And as Ella points out, and Toon. I don't think really excuses are needed. They're not the reason England aren't winning this game. The reason England aren't winning this game is because we've got an international break in April and players don't want to get injured.
Yes.
So they're not going to give it their all.
They haven't turned up tonight. It's as simple as that.
Charles. Strong tackle. Charles goes down holding a knee. Now Millie Bright driving that ball forwards. Paris touch and turn and is taken out there by Tisiak.
Yeah, Tisiak just got that slightly wrong. But yeah, good from Paris again. I think she's a player that has looked pretty sharp tonight. She's got that fight. She's got that hunger.
Yeah.
You can tell she's very happy and she's trying to make the most of this England start. And again, she's doing very, very well. So, wow, that is a Belgian band in the crowd. Sorry, I got cut off. I was so surprised. There's a drum, there was a clarinet, there was a trombone, there was a couple of trumpets in there as well. Lovely stuff. Whole orchestra going on.
Kukariza, Sarah suggesting the same thing we have about why is the squad not rotated in chat. Ball in, Bright tries to get there. Looked like it came for Belgian player. It didn't, apparently.
No, because at the end of the day, they're as good, if not a tiny little bit worse than the players, and they're going to give it everything.
Well, I'd argue you bring Laetitia into the centre-back partnership and it gets better.
Potentially, yeah. That's very,
Obviously, Wiegman would never consider that.
Makes no sense.
Pull forwards. Flicked on well in there by Van Havermet. Falls to Bronze. Now flicked on by Mead. Nice pass into Woolley. Woolley tries to go around the corner quickly and can't. Out now for an England throw-in. Bronze.
Feels like one of those where we're just going to have to put up with this level for the next 20 minutes or so, and then, when we see changes at half-time, it might make a bit of a difference in the second half.
Clinton brought down there. An obvious foul, and eventually it is given.
Yeah, England just that got better. Have reacted to the second goal, just starting to move the ball a little bit quicker. That's another foul that England have managed to draw. So there's a couple of them now, but it's better. They're moving the ball quicker.
Indeed.
Really, that's really good defending from Tisiak. With Bronze putting her foot up there as well. Just no nonsense defending.
Clinton wants to take players on here. Plays it into Paris. Paris touch back now to Mead. Now Williamson. Yeah, again, England just seem short of options this evening.
Oh.
Movement's not quite as sharp. And Belgium have got better defensively, undoubtedly. I mean, again, this is the issue with playing the same team twice.
Yeah.
Is that England learnt nothing new from Friday night, whereas Belgium would learnt a lot.
Yeah,
you
they
know
know.
More from your defeats than your victories.
Yeah, limit their objective today is to limit the England number 9 holding up the ball. It was on Friday night with Russo, tonight it's Paris, and to just stop that ball getting wide, because England in wide areas cause massive problems, and to stop giving away so many set pieces. By this point, England has 4 corners, I think, on Friday.
Yeah. It's just been a different game. And again, Kai Vargas not happy about the fact that we don't see Myra Laetitia in this England side tonight.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to start a petition at this point.
Yeah, I think we'll see 2 or 3 changes at half time at this rate.
Should be.
Even if it's not a reaction.
Brilliant from William. Ball into the box. That's an easy claim for Hampton, but that's a fantastic turn. Created a chance for herself there. It was actually.
Does very well. And again, Belgium moving the ball well, and when they come forwards with that, with the pace on the counter, they can hurt England massively. They've already done it twice in this game. But it's got to be quicker. That pass there from Williams has got to be touch and out to Bronze. Instead, it's just slowed down. Same across the board. England did well on Friday night, but they moved the ball quickly, and Belgium just couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
By slowing it down, you're just playing into Belgium's hands.
Yeah, Links loses it now. Bronze, Paris.
Yeah.
Penalised for a pullback. Here's Lucy Bronze.
Again, it feels like the referee's watching this game on a couple seconds delay.
Yeah.
It is a foul. It does happen. Clinton grabs her shirt and pulls her back. Then she loses the ball, and then we wait, and then we go, oh, then it's a foul. It's the right decisions, but they're coming 3 or 4 seconds later.
She's got dodgy strain.
Yeah. Again, I saw someone mention it as well on Friday. That seems Clinton's go-to foul. It's the same one she made when she scored that screamer against Aston Villa. Just the pull back on the shirt. Cool.
And that ball lifted in behind here. Filtians puts it in there, and it's 3-0 Belgium. And England being torn apart here away from home. Tessa Woolley's in the box again, and it's Belgium 3, England 0. And this is growing to be a difficult watch as England fans. Belgium 3. What the hell has happened to England in this game?
England just aren't here. It's as simple as that. They are not turned up tonight. Again, you look at this goal. The ball goes in. Lucy Bronze is jogging back to get in. Leah Williamson, does she sprint out to her? No, she stands there. She's walking out. She's jogging out to her. It's too
Bronze
easy.
is miles.
Bronze is miles out. It goes over her head and just not getting back in. Jogging back. Williamson, don't engage. Bright isn't picking up at Woolley in the middle. It's the basics. And this is what happens when you don't turn up, when you mentally aren't there on the football pitch. 9 of these England players are back with their clubs, getting ready for the weekend.
It's not even a good shot there from Tessa Woolley.
Oh no, it's horrendous.
It's straight at Hampton, but Hampton's rushing to try and get out to it. That she doesn't really react.
It's smart. She gets it wrong, but the right idea from Woolley is to go back across the goal kicker there.
Yeah.
But she gets it wrong and but still gets away with it. That's the kind of way England are playing tonight. England aren't here. Simple as that.
Yeah, Alyssa saying I'm going to crash out. Well, welcome to the stream, and I echo that.
I mean, look at this. Williamson and Bronze have picked up 2 different balls to take the same throw-in because they haven't communicated to each other as to who's taken the throw. It goes the basics from England.
Disorganised. Clinton.
I've never seen that before. Neither of them have said, right, I'm going to take the throw. It's ridiculous. I mean, if you're Wiegman, you make changes now because this is just woeful. We can't watch another 15 minutes of this. England will be 4 or 5-0 down by half time. Just not turned up. But nothing's going to change.
No. It's difficult because on one hand, this is probably the worst I've seen from England since the World Cup final.
But this is another thing. England won't play like this again.
Oh, well, Germany weren't great, but at least he scored some goals in that game. But I'm not inherently worried because it doesn't mean much. Yeah, we'll probably finish second behind Spain in the Nations League, but I'll get over it.
And we could
there's more important tournaments ahead as long as no Chelsea or England players get injured tonight.
Yeah. And the only person that has turned up on the football pitch is Nikita Paris tonight in an England shirt.
Clinton ball in, sends it away. Walsh now tries to chest it down.
Wow.
What has happened there? Miscommunication from England, and now Belgium look to break. Woolley, Janssens, options ahead. Ball's played in behind, and they're in again here. Belgium chance for 4. Saved well by Hampton, but England opens up like a hot knife through butter.
I've never seen 2 players out of a back 4 be out of position. How Bright and Bronze are both 10 yards off where they should be is absolutely incredible. But yeah, as you say, it's a difficult one because I'm not frustrated or worried at all because I know that if you were to go up to every England player and ask them tonight, how much are you giving it? They'd all say about 60, 70. Apart from Nikita Paris, who's giving it 180.
They wouldn't say that.
Well, of course, but that's exactly what they're doing.
Ball in, poor touch, and that is cleared away by Park.
The frustration comes because, as I said, again, England will never play like this ever again. But the frustration comes is what a wasted opportunity. You've got players on that bench who could get a first cap. You've got players on that bench and who are sat currently watching on the TVs at home that would, die for an opportunity to represent their country. And you've currently got 11 players out there, bar Nikita Paris, who just don't care.
Yeah, and I don't blame the players. That's the problem.
Yeah, yeah.
Like most of the time you watch England, the players aren't interested. You go, well, they should be given more. They should be honoured to put on the shirt. But it's an international break in April. In a season where English clubs have 2 teams in the Champions League semi-finals, in a season where we've got the Euros coming up. I think in June it's going to be even worse for this sort of stuff. It's just unbelievable scheduling. Bronze. Puts the ball in there. Control from Mead.
That's
and then a foul in there, and it's given us a penalty.
Well, that's a lifeline. That's something.
Yeah.
England penalty.
Definitely a foul. Mead brought down. Chance for England. And Mead will be more concerned. This is not something more serious. I'm a fan. I can't tell if I'm a fan or not, but I am enjoying watching this referee sprint everything.
I mean, yeah, why she gives a penalty and just run? Look, she gives a penalty and just sprints to the penalty spot. Everything's like 100 miles an hour, but yeah.
Well, she ran towards me to check she was all right. It's like she was going to check if she was all right, then decided she wanted to give a penalty, so she pointed at the spot and ran towards that instead.
It's brilliant. Well, England have a chance to get a goal on the score sheet, which is a start. It is a penalty. But yes, an opportunity now for England. And most of the players using this not actually to go get a drink and a chat with Wiegman rather than actually be ready to put the rebound in. But yeah, England just, well, determining who's going to take a penalty. It will be Beth Mead, who won the penalty. Will look to convert the penalty. But a lifeline for the Lionesses. A goal to give us, penalty to give us something to cheer out potentially. I mean, it's really something England's night. This is missed.
Liam Beth Mead could do the goal.
In
Can
good
she
form.
get one from the spot? Oh, not for Arsenal. Chance now for Mead. Steps up. Man dispatches of it well. Belgium 3, England 1.
Hooray!
And England have a lifeline.
It's
Thank
something.
Christ. And that has got Basil and the England faithful back on their feet. And they needed something. Good pen. Bottom corner. Slotted away well.
He's probably the only man in an England shirt tonight that you know, or an England fan tonight that still believes that England are going to win this game. But yeah, it's a goal, it's a lifeline, it's better for England. Again, they got the ball out wide, causing a threat in a wide area. The ball goes in, Mead holds up well, and then gets cleared out by Toilings, and England get a penalty and a goal from it. That was much more from what we saw on Friday night, getting the ball out wide and causing an issue. England have got to build on that now. But that's the problem. You know, as you said, the other thing, I think, you know, obviously we're talking long term about players wanting to stay fit and avoid injuries, but in the short run, 8 of these players have an FA Cup semi-final in 4 or 5 days' time. Apart from Mead, Williamson, and Paris, the other England players that have got will be thinking about an FA Cup semi-final, which is much more important to them. So yeah, it's a difficult one, but England have a goal now, but hopefully with a bit of change and some better play, they can get this game back in.
But guess who doesn't? Naz, Simmons, Kirby. Who else have they got in the squads that doesn't? Parker, Carter, Morgan.
Yeah. Even I think Millie Turner and Letizia would be, especially I think Turner as well. She'd love to represent England tonight. He said she's watching Brighton Williamson, who just aren't really worried about it.
Sarah asked, "Where's Ella Toon?" One of the few players that gets a rest, of course.
Yeah, I think that especially the way Park came on and scored and played well on Friday, it makes sense. But yeah, that was one of the players we did see rotated, which is good to see.
Nah, I should have picked Walsh. Just gone for really aggressive midfield. Bronze trying to go up the line, wedges to win a throw.
England can still win this game if they want to, if they put their minds to it.
Yeah. It helps United though. Skinner's gonna be a very happy man. I mean, they're going into City having had players that get a week off. Yeah,
Letizia and Turner got a day holiday in Belgium. Same with Toon. Clinton's played both games, which I'm sure he'll be disappointed about. But again, as you say, it does favour them. Man City, obviously they've had Jess Park play, from an England point of view, but apart from that, it's been all right.
Yeah.
Keating's... Well, no, Keating hasn't.
You think of City and their players have been jetting here, there and everywhere. Obviously, the fact they've got a strong Japanese contingent doesn't help because that is a lot of travel. I don't know if Jamaica... I don't know who they played or if they played. But presumably they had a game. Again, I don't know if Khadija Shaw was involved.
Yeah, I genuinely think we could get to June and we could see so many players pulling out. England might as well send the under-21s. Because I think Spain will do exactly the same thing. Just send the youth players.
Well, that's the more difficult one because those players will be in England camp at that point, and then out of England camp, and then back into England camp in a few weeks. I don't understand UEFA.
That's a great ball from Williamson. Can't quite find Viva Jones.
We played pointless friendlies in September.
Yeah.
Sorry, in October and November. And yeah, it was well fun to watch a half-assed US team show up at Wembley that didn't have any of their star attackers. Gurma didn't have any of their best players. Chance now for England. Paris takes it. That's over the bar.
Yeah, got that horribly wrong. But again, better for England, winning the ball up hard of the pitch and getting a shot away.
But that's when you could have played Nations League games.
Yeah, exactly. And then you shift.
And then you finish them in March.
Yeah.
You move the February international break, or you finish them in February. That works as well. And then you have pre-tournament friendlies in June rather than more Nations League games.
Yeah.
And then there you go. There's your schedule. Then you give the players a nice month rest, both for physical and mental health, between the end of the season and the start of the Euros.
Yeah.
Instead, it's just a horrible scheduling. Here's Erlings. That's launch the box. That's blocked. Now it is with Lucy Bronze.
If I'm in a Swedish position, I'll just make 5 changes at half time. Just change half the 11 and realise that she should have started those bench players and give them the opportunity.
Yeah. Right, there's also I feel like Suno might need to give a hell of a team talk and make some changes. Yeah. Maybe just tell them that if you want to put the England shirt on again, get it together.
Yeah.
But it's difficult. It's really difficult. Changes are necessary. Get some players on there who want to play these games.
Yeah. Give
players an opportunity. Centre halves, get Turner or Letitia on, at least one, maybe both. Get Simmons in there over Maisie Simmons in over Kira Walsh.
Yeah.
Just get some players on the pitch who want to play for England. Players who haven't had a lot of minutes. And players who may be involved this summer.
Yeah.
If we see Michelle Aguiman coming on, it's great for her. She gets her first appearance, but that doesn't help us going into summer. Especially when one of the players is actually moving on the pitch is Nikita Paris.
Get Morgan on there as well. A player that I feel comes to every single England camp and barely plays a minute. She got a few against Belgium on Friday. Give her a half. She deserves it. She has to come back from America to England every single international break, just play a handful of minutes.
I remember reading her interview when she first went out to America. When she'd been in America a bit, I think it's 6 months or a year after she'd left. Weren't that long ago, actually. She did an interview and she was speaking about how Wiegman basically said to her that she needed to be playing more football. So she moved clubs to go and play more football. And she's really happy to be back in the national team setup. And I was like, that's great, but she's not actually played for England.
No.
She might be in the squad.
You get to go to the camp.
If she stays in the squad, she might get a medal if this summer pans out how we hope.
Yeah.
But she's not actually going to play for England. But she should get minutes in a game like this.
She is a good footballer. I don't think she's a world beater. I don't think she's one of the best defenders in the world, but she's a solid defender who can and is better than Belgium.
So she's got to be questioning what more she's got to do to get a chance because we've seen Gabrielle George come in and she played a game in November. We've seen Jess Carter play quite a lot of minutes.
I get
she's not looked at the standard.
I get she wants to be part of the squad, but if I was her, I'd say, look, play me or don't bother, because I have to come, trek across the world.
Yeah, but she wants to be in the England squad.
Yeah, true.
It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
What else you got to do in July?
Get to meet Millie Turner's dog. That's why Millie Turner's here, I think, just for a dog to turn up.
Shot from range. That's not shot header from range. I felt quite distant for a header.
Yeah.
Hopefully fine.
Yeah, England just going through the motions now. It's good. It's one of those where it's really one of those nights. I can't wait to see the overreaction across this evening and in the morning of how we now get grouped.
A mixture of Spain fans who didn't watch it going, ha, England are washed.
Because
they shouldn't be allowed in the Euros, and then English fans going, well, we're doomed.
Yeah.
Because the context around the game is what they've not considered.
And the main takeaway will be that Hannah Hampton should be England #1 and Mary Earp should be starting.
Yeah, of course. She's just being rested up for this summer, after all.
Because if Mary Earp's in goal, this will be 1-0 England.
Dude, actually.
Yeah.
Scored. Belgium in possession, Deleuze. Ball down the line, Janssen. I'm not sure who she's picked out with that pass, but it'll run through the middle.
Belgium play better, but it's very easy for them at the moment. Like, they're doing well to hold on to the ball and not just kick it long and lose it. That's because no one is running after it. That is a terrible pass from Walsh. It's overhit. Charles is flat-footed and she doesn't get there. Story of the game so far for England.
Brian says, "Oh yeah, we're going from we're definitely winning the Euros to we're never going to get out of the group."
Yeah, we're not getting a single point. We're going to lose to France, Netherlands, and Wales. Yeah, get beaten by Wales. It's going to be the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to England, and we're going to cry.
Martin Thomas going to get a hat trick. Oh, she's Scottish. Hey lad's going to get a hat trick. First shot flag, I think.
To be fair, if Sorensen keep out of the head.
1-on-1 training with Kelly Gargo. There's bronze. Lovely turn from Clinton. Good tackle though, to be fair, from Jaskone. Ball up the line from Janssens. Headed strong there from Millie Bright. Paris touches and fantastic. England can work with it. Belgium win it back though, and it's poked through to Tessa Williet. And now she'll look to change the focal point of this attack as they move from right to left to Cayman. Now back to Tissiak, and that's been killed. Toulouse. So why they didn't just go out to the left there. Belgium had the numerical overload, and they were coming forwards with speed and with determination. Then they just stopped.
Yeah.
Pulled down the line, cut out well by Bronze.
You know, it's been a
Clinton.
tough half, and there's only a minute added on in the modern game.
Oh yeah, a minute of additional time in this first half. But yeah, 100%. Hardly a crazy affair.
No. And then again, England trying to overplay it. When you've had a poor performance and you've been played off the park for 45 minutes, why are you trying to some 30, 40 yard switch? Just keep it simple.
Yeah.
Again, Walsh just skip past
Van
it.
Haver, mate. A lovely drive through the middle of this England team. And Paris with a clumsy foul, and that'll be a Belgian free kick just over the halfway. But that will likely be the last action of the half. It is indeed, and there's a half-time whistle. Belgium 3, England 1. Damning from Belgium. England not getting going in this game. The Lionesses with an uphill battle facing them in the second half. The return of Tessa Williet has breathed life into this Belgium team as she bagged a brace. A goal from Everton's Van Havermate as well. Leaves them with 3 at the break. A consolation penalty from Beth Mead put England back in with a shot. But Harry, I'm going to take a quick break and I'm going to leave you to give your thoughts on what was a very drab first half.
Yeah, England. Really, really flat from the Lionesses. Really poor. The majority of the players are focused on what's to come over the next couple of weeks. As I said, 8 out of the 11 players have got an FA Cup semi-final this week. So, understandably, why would they be giving 110% in a game like tonight where they would have expected to turn up and win this game pretty comfortably? So, England, it has been below par, massively below par. It doesn't speak volumes. It doesn't tell us anything about where the England level is at right now and how good are England. It is as simple as England aren't bothered tonight about how this game goes. The players do not care. They don't want to give it everything. And again, it's a really difficult scenario because you can't blame them. If you're in the say you're Millie Bright, for example, you're a player who has played nearly every single minute for Chelsea this season, and you've got an FA Cup semi-final coming up this weekend. You've got Champions League semi-finals coming up in a couple of weeks. You've got the run-in where you could potentially win the league title. Why would Millie Bright tonight risk herself getting injured by putting in too much effort and costing her the chance to play for the rest of the season? That's the problem. Is that it is very easy, and understandably, I understand, for people to get frustrated and to be annoyed with the England players for not putting the effort in. But when you think about it, it is understandable. I am equally frustrated. I think that whenever you put an England shirt on, you should play with pride. You should give it absolutely everything. You should feel honoured to wear that England shirt. But at the end of the day, that isn't their priority, and it makes sense. if you think about it from from an England fan point of view, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that can relate to this, you want to see England play better. But if you're an Arsenal fan, for example, why would you want to you don't want to let Williamson to risk getting injured tonight? If you're a Chelsea fan, you don't want the likes of Bright or Bronze to risk getting injured tonight. We've already seen this international break. It's injured Alessia Russo. It's injured Chloe Kelly. It's, we saw Caitlin Ford pick up a knock with her nose, but that seems to be all right. But again, another injury caused by this international break. Cherry Holland is another one. We've seen many injuries across. Lauren James. We've seen so many injuries to big players, to key players for their domestic clubs. Pick up injuries over this international break in games that for the players don't really matter. At the end of the day, if you tell Millie Bright that she loses tonight, but it means that she stays fit for the end of the season, she's going to take that rather than give it absolutely everything tonight and then end up pulling a hamstring or being too fatigued to play in the FA Cup semi-final on Saturday. And that is the conundrum where we're at. But yes, overall performances hasn't been good enough from England. It again echoes the message that England need to rotate. Tonight, Wiegman should have gone for players who deserve an opportunity, players that would have gone out there and given it everything. Because there's players on that bench who would love to represent England, who would do anything to get onto that pitch tonight in an England shirt and represent their senior side. You've got the likes of Simmons and Aguimang on there who could make their international debuts for England at a senior level. And instead, we're watching guaranteed starters give it 70%. That's not what we want to watch. We want to see players who are chomping at the bit. We want to see players who, feel lucky. They feel honoured to play for England. And then hopefully we will see that. We've got to the half-time break now and going in second half. I'd like to see at least 3 changes, if not more, because, England need to give opportunities to the players who have done all the travelling. Esme Morgan, as we mentioned there just before half-time, turns up to every single camp and barely gets 5-10 minutes. So tonight, go on, bring her on at half-time, give her 45 minutes. It's just frustrating. I'm not frustrated at the performance. I'm not frustrated at the players on the pitch, because at the end of the day, I'll do exactly the same if I was them. Yeah. But I just think from Wiegman and from England, give an opportunity to the players who haven't got a cap yet or have only got a handful of appearances. Give them 45 minutes to impress.
Yeah, I feel obliged to say, because we keep talking about Esme Morgan as though she needs some sort of participation trophy. She's a very good player within her own right. I think someone who can contribute immensely for England. But yeah, England should be looking at changes at this break, surely. An embarrassing first 45. I think anyone in the right mind would concur. It's far from the level we expect from the Lionesses. And again, I think you can look at both sides of the argument in the sense, every time English players should be putting on the shirt, there should be a sense of pride. They should be playing with as much effort as possible, really. They should be giving it their all. But equally, I understand from the players' perspective why tonight there isn't that same interest.
Yeah, the plan for the players tonight would have been to turn up for the first 20-25 minutes, score 2 or 3 goals, put the game to bed, and then relax for 60. The problem is Belgium had other ideas, and they've turned up tonight. They've been absolutely brilliant. They deservedly lead 3-1, and that caught England out. Because to be honest, if Belgium had played like they did on Friday, England could have rocked out like this and probably gone into half-time 1-0 up. But Belgium have looked entirely different. They've been absolutely brilliant. Yeah. They've packed a punch on the counter. They've been really threatening in front of goal, and they've earned this lead.
Yeah, two big things for Belgium. Shape change, slightly. They've gone from a 3-5-2 they used in the first game to a bit more of a 3-4-3 at times. It's been a bit more fluid, but they're also in the sense of how they want to play. Belgium much more direct, much more transitional tonight. They've got Tessa Williat, who's playing on the shoulder of the last defender, and that makes a huge difference because it's stretching this England team, and it's creating space in behind with her runs, creating that opportunity to play that in behind. It's also creating space behind her because she's making those runs. She's dragging in players with her, and there's space for other players to operate in, and it's dragging England all over the place. And I know the effort hasn't been there tonight for England, but structurally I will have concerns about that because simple runs in behind at the moment are causing huge structural defensive issues for England.
Yeah.
And that is something we've seen before, and it's something that should be of great concern, I think.
But ultimately, again, take everything you analyse tonight with a pinch of salt, because this is a very different game to what we should be looking at, really, when we consider England, because there isn't that same interest from the players tonight. There isn't that same want and desire that should be there from the players tonight. So that's difficult. Looking at the third goal, just shocking.
Yeah.
From so many individuals. Lucy Bronze is miles out of position. Leah Williamson jogging back, half-assed. This player, Phil has the freedom of this left-hand side to put a ball into the box. Not surprisingly, she picks out Tessa Woolley with it.
Yeah.
And again, it's poor defending of Woolley. I don't think anyone's been anywhere near her tonight, either of England's centre-halves. Just tragic display from England.
Yeah,
across
there's
the board.
no individual problems. It's just everyone across the board has been horrendous, as you say there.
I think it's all individual.
Well, no, but yeah, I think it's, but in terms of it's not one individual, it's every single individual. But again, there, as you say, you pick out, there was 4 or 5 problems with that from completely different players on that pitch as to why that goal went in. And it's we need to see wholesale changes. We need to see a massive difference in the 11 that goes out to play that second half, because England have to play better than that. But credit to Belgium, because they've done well. England, I think if England turn up in the second half and respond really well, they can still win this football match. It's as simple as that. But yeah, I think that, well, I mean, maybe, do you know what they need now? They need a game changer. They need the Baller League. They need something to happen. Maybe they get 3 corners and they get another penalty and then they can score another one.
They're very interesting rules they have in that league. Kunsignoro says Serena made tall claims in the pre-game presser. They want to prove they've improved. This is like a tongue teaser. Their previous loss to Belgium in 23, well, nothing's changed thanks to the have-beens in the back 4. Do you think there's a problem with England's defence?
No, I don't think that. I think that personnel-wise, England are absolutely sorted in defence. They've got a brilliant mix of youth and experience across the squad, which I think massively helps, because again, if you do pick up an injury or you've got an issue, say Brighton Williamson are performing, okay, you throw Greenwood and Laetitia in there, and that problem is completely nullified. I think that, as you say, potentially there's a certain issue structurally, and that there could be system issues that let the defence down. But in terms of the personnel and the the quality that England possess defensively, I think they're absolutely sorted. The options they have are just incredible. So I think they're okay in that regard.
I think part of the problem with the defence is that there isn't pressure on performances because there isn't competition for places.
Yeah.
If you look at all of England's back 4, they're nailed for the Euros, you'd say, unless there's an injury. Which it shouldn't be the case, because Maya Laetitia is probably our best centre-half.
Yeah, Greenwood, when she's fit, should be knocking on that door. Well, not knocking. I think they shouldn't be knocking on the door. They should be in that room having that same conversation.
There could be a very strong argument that England's centre-half partnership this summer, provided everyone was fit, should be Greenwood and Laetitia. And I don't think that's necessarily a foregone conclusion of an argument that you'd say, oh, Brighton and Williamson definitely have to play. But in Serena's mind, that is the situation. We've not seen Greenwood get enough minutes in an England shirt. We've not seen Laetitia get any minutes in an England shirt. Anything meaningful. So I do agree to an extent that England's defence suffers from the fact it's too settled, but not because they're bad players, but because there is no competition for places. So subpar performances aren't punished, and so work ethic isn't mandatory. And I think that is a problem. When there's no competition for places, it allows for complacency. So I think in that regarding, there should be more rotation. There should be more opportunities. Laetitia and Turner should be knocking on the door of this team, because both have been really good this season, and there just hasn't been the opportunities for them at centre half.
Again, it brings it back to the same point, and it is proven time and time again. You win major tournaments, you win international trophies through your squad, not your starting 11. England are one of the best examples of it when they won the Euros a few years ago. England's starting 11 didn't win that. Well, obviously, they were very, very good, but it was the whole squad. It was the fact that you brought on Tuna and Russo. It was the fact that Chloe Kelly would come on and make the difference. That whole squad for England won that Euros.
What England lacked at the World Cup in 23.
Yes.
Because players weren't given opportunities. England had a settled 11, and that was that. We didn't really see, I think, as well. I mean, there were other issues, of course, at that tournament. I think there were other defensive problems. There was the fact that I don't think Serena knew her best team because she did at the tournament in 22. She knew what she wanted, and then obviously had massive help off the bench, and the fact that Toon and Russo, players who were expected to be bit part players, had a huge impact off the bench. But I don't think England knew their best 11 in that tournament. I think going into this summer, Serena's been keen to ensure she knows her best team, but I think that's come at the detriment of having a squad that's ready to compete. And actually in a situation now where there are injuries and where England have been hampered by players not being able to play, I think it's a situation where if those players are out this summer, you'd be incredibly worried about England.
Yeah, it's the nature of international football where subs make the difference with the close competition and things like extra time and all that. It's squads make a difference, and as you say, in 2022, we sat there and went, right, this will be the England starting 11 for 60 minutes, and then we'll see Toon, Russo, Kelly come on, and England will end up scoring another couple of goals. We look at this summer, and as you say, they know the starting 11, but when I look at who could come on and make a difference, the biggest question is we don't know because we haven't seen them often enough. And the second question is, well, who are we looking at? Because those rotation players, because they haven't been involved enough. Like, for example, when that squad gets cut down, we still don't know whether it will be Beaver Jones who's get cut out or whether it's Nikita Paris who gets cut out.
Because they've not been given opportunities.
It's bizarre.
Their only opportunities have come at the consequence of injuries.
Yeah, which tells us nothing because it doesn't tell us who Wiegman favours or who wants to play because she's forced to play them.
Yeah, indeed. I'm keeping our cards relatively close to our chest, but I think it's difficult to get a good read on where England are at right now.
It's been a mixed night, by the way, for the other teams in the UK and Ireland. Scotland in the same boat as England. Horrendous evening. Wales, big point against Sweden. Northern Ireland are currently beating Romania, and the Republic
changes at half time. By the way, double change. Jess Carter on for Neve Charles. Esme Morgan on for Millie Bright.
Good. Finally, we're going to watch Esme Morgan play football. 45 minutes in an England shirt. Yeah. Jess Carter also. That is good. It's rotation. We can't complain. That's exactly what we want to see, and that's exactly what we've got.
100%. I mean, whether or not...
My Letitia and Millie Turner must be sat there just staring daggers at Serena Wiegman.
Yeah. Anyway, second half underway. Belgium knock it back, and we're back underway here in Leuven. Belgium keen to hold on to this 3-1 win. England need to make a statement.
I think Belgium, they've got a lot to fight for. They want to stay in the top league. They don't want to get relegated to the B League. Who wants to be in the Nations League B? It's much worse.
I think it's going to be really difficult to see Belgium. I mean, a win in this game does them...
They only go a point off Portugal.
True, but I think Portugal beat Belgium.
Do they, though? That's the big question.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll ruin the suspense.
Bronze runs at the fullback again, and she has caused issues tonight, Bronze, by being really direct.
She's caused issues going forward because she's putting the effort in. It's the tracking back where she just can't be bothered. It's exactly why England conceded 2 of their goals. Because Bronze just didn't get back in. Yeah, I think those two defensive changes make sense.
Nikita Paris. Mead puts it in there. Not really sure whether that was a cross shot or a clearance from Beth Mead.
Near to at time there. She had time to take and she could have got a better shot off or found a better pass. Again, just blindly, just cross the ball in.
Yeah.
That doesn't achieve anything. But yeah, England, if they need to score early, just to plant a seed of doubt into that Belgian side and to give optimism to the England 11.
Inez asking where to watch. If you're in the UK, Inez, it's on ITV4 this evening. If you're outside the UK, then I'm not sure if it will be televised. If you can't find a way to watch it, then please feel free to join us here for our coverage of the game. Here's Kira Walsh. Now Jess Carter, England probing again. Clinton, Morgan, Park, Clinton. Plays it into Bronze. Now Clinton battling away from possession. And that is out for a Belgian throw. Kai Vargas saying this is shit, honestly, but well, at least they're going to return healthy to United. I think talking there on Turner and Letitia. I think if it wasn't for the fact that Clinton's played every minute so far, I'd have serious questions over whether Skinner has asked Wiegman not to play Letitia and Turner. Because what more have they got to do to get opportunities?
They're the only side that have had the majority of their players rested. You're right. Toon hasn't started tonight, and Letitia and Turner haven't played a single minute.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting scenario. Maybe Skinner has got in the ear of Wiegman.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's been on the blower and said, "Look, we've got an FA Cup semi-final.
Yeah.
Would you consider rest of my players?" And seemingly nobody else has asked that because Chelsea have 6 starting tonight. Had 6 starting on Friday night, 7 involved in total.
The charm and the lovable element of Mark Skinner that just
His charisma.
Yeah, that everyone loves, clearly. His persona.
England with a free kick in a good area. But I wouldn't be surprised. I think Skinner is held in high regard by a lot of managers in the women's game. And understandably so. Ball in from Mead. And that is headed away. Williamson will look to keep this alive here. And it's out for a corner, and England will use this now.
Better for me. They threatened massively from set pieces against Belgium the other night. So, again, look to target that area. Get that ball into the box. Worked on Friday was that near post ball flicked on towards the back post and someone running in to finish it. Let's see if we can get a similar outcome tonight. Well, we have to wait.
Wants to talk, yeah.
I do love Paris' tenacity and the physical element of her game. I think that could be a key player for England at the Euros if she's there. Again, if she's there, we have no idea.
Mead and Park exchanging passes. Mead now to Carter. Knocks it out wide. Beaver-Jones. Walsh slides it back towards Aggie Beaver-Jones. And that's out of play now. For an England throw.
Again, England missing the likes of I think, the likes of Toon and James were brilliant at recycling that ball.
I'm not sure if this is a momentary change, but Beaver-Jones and Mead have swapped flanks.
That's interesting.
May have just came off the corner.
Yeah.
So I'll wait to see before commenting further, but interesting.
Shoot.
Carter knocks it wide into Beth Mead on this left-hand side. Wants to drive inside of the ball. Finds Walsh. Walsh has Park as a wide option. Will lift it into the box here. And that's unlucky. That just doesn't quite fall for England. And now Belgium will look to counter one back by Williamson, who just smashes it forwards.
What a bizarre
gifted possession back to Belgium.
Again, there's no way she's looked for someone to aim for there.
Well, she's got right over her shoulder. Hannah Hampton to her right. I mean, there may be a decent distance, but she's not under immense pressure from Tessa Williet there. And don't get me wrong, there is a press, but just smash it in the opposite direction there.
Just take a touch and use it. It has been better.
Tackle from Clinton, apparently catching too much of the play if the referees like him.
It's been a better start to the second half, but the problem is when you're 3-1 down, you have to find goals quickly, because if not, the task just becomes more and more difficult. And again, Belgium have played through England too easily there, and they've finding themselves in a good position now as they come forwards. It's a good run. Yearlings looks to use it. That's a great ball.
That's a nice ball inside, and Belgium I don't have to make anything of it. Hands to the hands now of Hannah Hampton.
Yeah.
This does still feel like a game England can win.
Oh yeah,
and that's the important thing. If England can win it, it would show a lot about the character, I think, of this side.
Yeah. But again, it's got a reaction. If England don't get a goal in the next 4 minutes, I'd expect more changes.
But it's one of those. If England lose tonight, I don't think it tells us a lot. If they win, it does.
Yeah.
And that's not often the way football goes, but that's sort of the nature of this game and its placing in the context of this season, that there isn't that same interest from the players. Mead does well to get inside. Now chance for England. Mead just held on to it too long there. It was brilliant from Beaver-Jones to dart inside. Now Carter takes aim. That one's blocked. And Beaver-Jones isn't going to get there. Filchins clears it only as far as Bronze, who tries to play a direct pass into Nikita Paris. Doesn't quite come off. Ball cleared away by Belgium out wide. Mead will keep it alive. Now Carter. The front line's invisible, says Yi-Chen. Well, they came into shot there.
Yeah.
Beaver-Jones has dart inside, opened up Belgium.
I think that's harsh on Paris as well. I think she's done well off the little service she's had. and is fighting up there.
Now Carter. Into Park. Walsh. Nice give and go there between Mead and Park. It's just sort of stuck under the foot of Jess Park. Walsh. Poor pass. One back by Van Havermet. And now they'll look to break here, Belgium. Erlings. Comes inside. Looks to switch the play. Tussawuliet makes a good run. It's claimed well there by Hannah Hampton. Out quickly. 2 hands on the ball. Committed well.
Yeah, good from Hampton. But again, England's success actually was their problem there. Clinton won the ball so high up the pitch that she took a touch and she just ran into 3 England players. And then she lost the ball because she couldn't give it to anyone because they were all on top of each other. It's something England do just need to get better, just need to start recycling that ball a little bit better.
Well, I think on the left-hand side is a bit of a problem because you've got Jess Carter, who is incredibly comfortable in attacking areas. And so she's not really holding the width as she should be. And you've got Mead, who is more of an inside forward than an out-and-out winger. So this wide channel is quite empty on this left-hand side. I think Belgium are realising that and just forcing England's play this way. They know if they allow England to come down the right-hand side and you've got Beaver, Jones and Bronze linking up, you've got Bronze overlapping, it's very difficult to deal with. But on this left-hand side, they are able to nullify the threat posed by England a little easier. Park. Meads. That doesn't mean to say they couldn't come down this left-hand side, but Meads' cross there is blocked well. And Janssen's had a good game.
Yeah. Up and down. Again, much better, much improved on Friday.
That was her ball in behind as well. To Tessa Williat that opened up the scoring. Here is now Mead again, and Janssen's out to her quickly.
There's just not much on at the moment. Someone's got to start showing. I do think the presence
Also lovely give and go between Lucy Bronze and Aggie Beaver-Jones. Now a ball into the box. It's blocked. Flicked on by Bronze. Paris to Bronze again. Darts inside. Down for a penalty. Waved up. And will be booked for a simulation here by the referee. She can't believe it. Again, we'll have to have a look. There was one earlier on Bronze that was missed. Looked a blatant penalty. Was this one also a foul?
I don't think so. I think simulation might be harsh, but we'll have a look. I think Bronze is trying. She knows what she's doing. Let's have a look. I mean, I don't think it's simulation.
2 players there have got nowhere near the ball.
No, there's contact.
It's
definitely
difficult. She's got nowhere to go there.
Yeah.
But she is brought down there.
I think it would have been a harsh penalty. I think to call it simulation and book her is very harsh.
Because I don't think there's intent to deceive the referee, or however you would describe simulation.
She goes down under contact.
Yeah, I don't think... I think she makes the most of the contact, but it's not like she's thrown herself on the floor in a theatrical manner.
Not one of those the defender sticks their leg out and she's just jumped over it.
There's a conceivable amount of contact there for that to be a foul, but there you go. Cleared out there to Walsh. Clinton now, England coming forwards. Walsh. Clinton again. Now Carter. Jess Park. Now to Walsh. Pokes it to Leah Williamson, who will strike it from there. Tipped over the bar well by the goalkeeper. Really good stop there from the Belgian keeper. Tips it over well.
Yeah, so really, that's a top save.
Important intervention.
Really good stuff. It's worked side by side rugby-esque from England. Williamson with a good effort and a really good save.
It's there. Lichtfuss.
In a mix and match kit tonight.
Over the bar. Yeah, I imagine they've shown up with the away goalkeeping kit and realised England are wearing a darker shade. Poor header there from Lucy Bronze. Went askew. Out for a goal kick.
It's better from England, but a goal has got to come soon, really. They need 3. And with just over half an hour to go, something's got to change. Something's got to give. it's one of those where you think if England get one, they can get another, and they can get another, and suddenly they complete it. But it's about getting that trigger, get that first goal.
Yes, it's such a shame Alessia, Lauren James and Chloe Kelly are injured because they really would have made more chances.
Yeah, I think Russo and James are big misses for this England team. Especially, not that Chloe Kelly isn't a miss, but I think in terms of importance, Russo's a really accomplished finisher now, and clearly the focal point of this England side. And Lauren James, in my opinion, is one of the best in the world. I'd argue the best in the world on her day. So I think two players who have a huge impact for England. So undoubtedly so. And yeah, it definitely does change how England function without them. That said, they shouldn't be losing 3-1 to Belgium in any circumstances. So I think while that is a valid argument, and if we were going into the Euros without those two players, I would massively lessen. I think it would massively weaken our chances.
Yeah.
I don't think it can be an excuse for tonight.
No.
Carter. Beaver Jones. So Beaver Jones and Mead have swapped back again.
Makes sense.
Right. Well, I don't know. Maybe Beaver Jones had more success on this side, but I thought she was doing quite well on the right-hand side. We haven't really seen from me today.
No.
Bar, of course, the penalty. But even then, she was in the right place and drew the foul well.
Yeah.
Walsh. That's a great ball into Brandt, who plays it inside wonderfully. A mess of defence from Belgium. They get away with Mead back into the box. Too high for anyone to convert. And Beaver Jones will be hard-pressed to get there, and that's out for a Belgium throw. Again, England probing, England dicing with an opportunity, but not able to add the finishing touch. And a double change now coming for the Lionesses. Ella Toone and Frank Kirby ready.
Good reaction from Serena Wiegman. I like that. Still no goal after 14, 15 minutes, and we're going to see a double change.
I imagine this will be Clinton.
Yeah.
And
This is where it gets
Harris?
interesting. Potentially. And then Beaver Jones more through the middle, but yeah.
Something like that.
Yes. It will be. Yes. Yeah, Paris. England just going to look to try and create on this field, which now is exactly what they need to do. Not a bad night from Paris. I don't think she could have done much more, really. Just a lack of service. Not really anything. She's a poacher. She's a type of striker who feeds off scraps and delivers, but there were no scraps to eat.
Is this then a shape change, or is Kirby playing left wing? Or Park playing wide? Kirby playing left wing.
Yeah, looks to be.
Well, look out, Belgium, for our blistering pace down our left-hand side. I love Jess Carter, I love Frank Kirby, but come on. Williamson. Bronze. Toone. Bronze. Walsh battling for the ball.
Oh, Messi. Again, Toone does well. Just get a foot on the ball, get involved, and just settle this down. England can do this if they want to.
I always love seeing Super Fran wearing England colours.
Yeah, good to see her get half an hour.
Yeah. Jess Park. Toone. Oh, lovely skill from Ella Toone, and she's on it, and then the pass isn't there.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. That looks really nice from Ella Toone, but not functional.
Yeah, right.
They can clip that up. The fan girls will clip that up, but Toone's got to find a pass there.
Yeah. It's bizarre that she didn't. She just didn't move it quick enough.
Yeah. Great shimmy of the feet.
She
just didn't play the pass.
That's the hard part. Did the difficult bit. Then she had to play a 5-yard side pass.
Yeah, it's a really tidy drag back, open up space for her, and then she had the freedom of the pitch to play that ball out wide, and she just got the pass wrong.
Big half an hour now for England.
But Frank ever coming off the bench there, does that? I mean, still huge questions over who's playing for England at the Euros this summer. But is Frank Kirby then in the squad?
Maybe. Honestly, I think every time we have an international break, my mind changes on who could potentially be in the squad.
Because I just don't see how that everyone fits in.
No.
You had Hemp, James, Russo back into selection. You had Kelly into selection. There's not enough space for all of these players, and you'd think by now it'd be streamlined into who's starting and who's coming off the bench, but it isn't.
Yeah, I think it's one of the worst parts of the international stage is having to pick a squad for an international tournament, because I think, especially when you've got a lot of quality players, whoever misses out for England, it's going to be very difficult.
It's much more difficult when you insist on picking players who perhaps haven't been at the standard for a while because you have favourites. That does make it more complicated.
Yeah.
Erling's there, caught offside.
I think the referee's putting more energy tonight than anyone in an England shirt. Again, here, the way she just sprints over to the offside is incredible. She's off.
She burst back there quicker than Walsh did.
Yeah. That turn of pace is incredible.
You'd think she's an attacker.
Get her a trial somewhere.
Just trying to get to the edge of the box. Slot it home. It's just Carter. Walsh. But I've never seen such enthusiasm on a referee. Except when they're given a card.
Just want to be everywhere all the time.
Yeah. Golo Kante of refereeing.
Yeah. England can do this if they want to. They really can. There's time if they can find the goals.
Nice ball in behind, and Beaver Jones playing off the shoulder, adding something to this England attack. Good defending from Tissiak, but that will be an England throw, England corner.
Set piece, good opportunity for England to try and get something from the game, to try and get something out of it. Again, just not made that same. We went 2-0 up just through corners on Friday. Haven't packed the same punch so far.
Left made. Drills it in, routine. Hasn't exactly worked out. Awful for Carter. That's got to be a strike.
Yeah.
Walsh, though, will take aim. It's blocked wide. Keeper, though, does really well. Thought that was going.
Wow.
She reacted and realised that she had to get there.
Yeah.
Stop the corner.
That was very good. But yeah, I think it's fallen to Jess Carter 3 or 4 times now. I think she's just got to hit it.
She doesn't back herself.
No.
But then played a pass into Walsh, who was back to goal, so it wasn't like she could ping one in or put it in the box, but she also didn't really have the options to sort of recycle it. So it's a turn and a shot that she did well with what she was given, but ball cleared forward and Woolleyette brings that down wonderfully. And she's been phenomenal tonight. Absolutely unplayable, Tessa Woolleyette.
Yeah. Difference maker. Alongside the horrendous performance from England, but difference maker.
Well, it's one of those, isn't it? It's a chicken or egg situation. Have England been horrendous tonight and it's giving Woolleyette the space, or is Woolleyette dragging them around? I think, again, it's probably a balance of the two, but as tends to be the case with those sort of conundrums. I mean, obviously not the chicken and the egg one, but that's not the subject of tonight's show. Join us Wednesday.
We're not at that point.
Chicken versus egg.
If England don't score in the next 10 minutes, we might be.
Ella Toon tries to come with a moment of magic. Not quite able to pull it off.
Better, much better from England, moving it quicker. Again, 3 goal seems like a lot in 25 minutes, but look at what the best sides do. Spain scored 3 in 12 against Portugal tonight. Germany scored 5 in 15 against, 5 in 20, 25 against Scotland tonight. It's doable, very doable for England.
Oh, definitely. I just don't think England want it as much.
No.
I think Germany are helped out by the fact that they have they don't have any clubs left in European competition, so for a lot of their players there isn't that importance on their seasons. No, they've got players who play elsewhere, like Shulkin, but it's not like this England side where 6 of the starters tonight have Champions League semi-finals and FA Cup semi-finals over the next 3 weeks. For Chelsea, a few of them have FA Cup this weekend with Manchester United and Man City. A few of them have Champions League over the next 2 weekends after this with Arsenal. So it is a different kettle of fish. And people say, well, Spain still won it. Yeah, half of Spain's squad didn't play the Liga F. That looked like a penalty not given. It's given a foul the other way.
Wow. The other thing is, obviously, Belgium are better than Scotland.
Yeah.
It's true. And I think tonight, Belgium, I mean, that Aggie Jones does foul Tisiak there, but that's because she's been lumped into it. That's like bowling. Just like the domino effect. So I'm not really sure what B Jones meant to do there. Because if she's pushed Tisiak over, it's because she's been barged over.
Well, if I shove you and you hit the laptop,
I will not.
I don't blame you.
It's not. Oh yeah.
Oh, Harry, what have you done?
The laptop doesn't get a free kick because you did that. No, never mind. Just not been eating tonight.
I mean, we
look,
could have 4
Jess
penalties.
Parks just tackled Fran Kirby. They've taken each other out. Sums up the night.
First interception of the game, I think, for us.
The terrible tackle from Parks. It's a yellow card all day long. She gets there so late.
McKenzie says she only played most of their backups. Yeah, I mean, we should have rotated.
Yeah.
Gaston says must make some changes at the defence, England. We already have Gaston. What else? I mean, I'd have made changes pre-match to the defence, but what would you change now? We haven't really got any other attackers to bring on, short of Jess Naz, so if we were going to make a change, it probably will be defensive. Not that is
unorthodox.
Yeah.
And it's led to cramp.
From Filchians. I think that was a performative cramp.
Where's she going now? Well, if someone had a cramp a couple seconds ago,
yeah, well, that's what I mean.
This is just sprinting away.
It felt very much like she's made a hash of that.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, going on, I've got cramp.
A little bit of cramp. It's only momentary cramp.
Then she realised that she was miles out of position.
Yeah.
A dramatic recovery. Ball laid into the box. Cleared away just about. Park will try and keep this alive. Toon knocks it wide. Toon again. And that is a poor delivery from Ella Toon.
Again, it's just not fooling you. The ball comes out of the box. Walsh then tries to just let off Jess Park and just plays it, half a yard just too far in front of her.
Yeah, and then Park gets it, and rather than going straight out to the player who's just taken the corner, put it back in the box, it goes to Toon, then to play the corner, and that pass just gives chance for Belgium's players to get out to it.
Yeah.
Earling's coming off for Belgium.
No, she had a good game.
And it's going to be Blom on in her place.
Well, Belgium just looking to hold on now just to do a job and see this result through.
And Detroyer coming off. And she's going to get an applause from the Belgian fans, and Delacour coming on.
Yeah, bit of height, bit of physicality into that midfield just to try and stave off this England on. Well, I'm about to say not really onslaught. This England. It's like playing one of those. It's like England are trying to hurt them with a polystyrene sword at the moment. Just not really doing anything.
Polystyrene sword. You can still do damage to the polystyrene sword. Just got to aim for the eyes.
It's like using plastic cutlery. It's probably more like to hurt you than it is the opposition.
Duncan says Lionesses should qualify in their group. What, in the Nations League? At the moment, we would lose our top spot to Spain.
Yes, by 2 points. Despite the fact we beat them.
To beat them again.
Yeah, easy that. That's a walk in the park.
But again, I just hate that that's happening in June.
Yeah. Because
that's a game that should have. If we were to meet Spain in the US, the game should have so much hype. We would have seen it twice in the 6 months prior to the game.
It will be
4 months prior to the game.
It will be Spain under 23 against England under 23s. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Send the under 19s. They beat Ukraine 10-0 today. They're brilliant.
Yeah, those got tanked by Spain under 19s, didn't they? Or was that under 23s?
And the under 19s lost. Oh, they lost in the final. Euro 19 Euros final.
Everyone loses to Spain.
Spain just wins.
The moral of the story.
Yeah.
Everyone tries and Spain wins.
Spain need to have proper cutlery. Beaver Jones. Can England find something?
No, everyone has proper cutlery. It's just Spain are eating with mega cutlery.
Spears.
Yeah. Spain don't even need cutlery.
I don't know where this is going. Should keep up this cutlery thing.
No, it actually doesn't work.
No. Well, it did.
No,
it didn't. "18 minutes.
Bronze. Beaver Jones lays it to Toon. Toon looking to fashion an opportunity. Cleared away in there by Janice Kamen.
But yeah, Toon initially did the right thing. She didn't put it in because she went to do it and then dummied it because she realised there was a player there. And then when the player still hadn't moved, so she went, oh, I'm going to kick it anyway, though. She did the right thing first of all to dummy it and then decided to kick it just straight at her. England free kick. I'm not sure what Filtians is doing right now.
No.
Just holding hands with Toon or just trying to take it, and that will be a yellow card.
Obviously.
Still time. 18 minutes, 3 goals. Just going to take a lot. No idea what she's trying to do there.
Just fancied a fine from UEFA.
Yeah. But I'll pay some money.
To be fair, I don't think it's much for a yellow, is it?
No. Got to be on the money from me.
Ball into the box. Header up from Kirby. That's header away from Van Havermet.
It's got to be more dangerous from Kirby.
Cleared away.
Yeah, that header has to be a direct header across the goal. It's looped up. And just hoping someone can get there.
And Belgium using substitutions now to waste time.
Yeah. England used 4 and it's not really... It's been better, but it hasn't been good enough still.
Yeah, I think you look at what we've brought on, it's like, how haven't we scored? It's not really...
I thought Eze Morgan was going to come on for a hat-trick.
Morgan and Carter.
That had to happen just to stop conceding.
Yeah, no, it doesn't really change the way we attack. You've got to double down your gun. You've got to go down with your guns at that point. Stick to your guns. I don't know what I'm saying. I've mixed 2 phrases. But yeah. And then we came after that, Kirby and Toon.
Yeah.
There's some flashes from Ella Toon, but it feels like she just keeps shooting from anywhere, and her passing hasn't been great. And then Frank Kirby, who hasn't really touched the ball.
Yeah. Another corner. Set pieces are really starting to rack up now for England.
Ball into the box. Players throw themselves at it. No one able to meet it, though. It's a Belgium head that steers it clear. Carter. Toon. Back out to the right-hand side now. And Beaver Jones waiting for a chance to deliver. Williamson looking to keep this alive. Nudged down there, and that will be a foul. As Deleuze has caught her. She is bewildered by that decision.
But again, that pass from Carter can skip the middleman of Toon.
Yeah.
That ball from Carter should have just gone out wide to the player on the flank immediately.
It's incredibly safe football.
Yeah.
Of just, we'll slowly knock it around, but can we be a bit more direct? Especially at 2, with needing 2 goals with 15 to play. England with another chance to just loop the ball into the box. They do so. And there is contact in there from Bronze, and it's not too far wide of the mark.
Yeah, it does well. But again, it's not a bad ball in, but again, the ball now has to have pace on it. It's got to be flat. Again, it's looped up in the air, and looking for Bronze at the back post, I get that. But I think you just got to drill it through the air and just hope someone can just bullet header it home.
Yeah. Respect the Lab says Woolia is a world-class centre forward. She isn't. She's very good, though. Let's refrain from using world-class.
Yeah, she had a very, very good game.
Coming off. Don't coming on.
Should we hoping that England don't pull this game back?
I was going to say, I can't wait to see their next subs. Stop me and now.
Like it.
Thank you.
14 to go.
Eddie Stevens says Williamson should be sent off for that.
No, she shouldn't have.
No.
She doesn't mean to do it. She gets pushed over and her legs are in the air and she just catches was it Filtians out there? Juliet, yeah.
No, and
on the ball. Oh.
Yeah, I think it was Filtians. Ball inside, Williamson brings it down. Now England can play. Bronze. Mead. Williamson. Respect there says against England, William always looks like R9. Depends, making her look like an elite forward.
Love playing against England.
Yeah. Very good at making runs in behind. Very good at the timing. Very efficient finisher. Getting the WSL.
Ooh.
Bronze absolutely wiped there.
Yeah. That was a really good move from England.
Can't have any complaints there. The Belgian player, Delacourse.
England did so well. Really moved it nicely, really quickly, really nicely. And again, the only way Belgium could stop that momentum was by barreling into bronze and taking her out.
Acacia says there was talk 2 years ago that FIFA were considering a stop clock as opposed to extra time to eliminate time wasting. Looking forward to that, but I haven't heard anything since. Games will take like 2 hours to complete.
Yeah.
So that's just not.
Games would take way too long, and it just wouldn't be. The logistics would be very difficult because every time the ref stopped their watch, the clock would have to. Everyone would have to stop the clock. The stadium would have to stop the clock. It would just.
Football's a continuous sport, but there are still stoppages.
Oh my days! How's that not an own goal?
There are still stoppages, and
Yeah.
I think the ball active time is something like 40 minutes on average. If you want to play to 90, we're going to be 8 hours.
Yeah.
Here's Park. Because every time the ball goes out of play, you stop the ball. You stop the clock.
Yeah.
It would take years.
Yeah.
Ball into the box. Headed down. France tries to keep it alive. A game of headers in the penalty area right now. If anyone can get the ball down and have a shot that would be good. Park does so. And that is headed up onto the bar by a Belgian defender. Great blocks to deny Jess Park. And England once again can put pressure on from a wide opportunity.
That was goal bound from Park. Hit it really nicely on the volley. A key header that to send it onto the crossbar and over. England really pushing now. Better late than never.
A change. I think for England. Poor timing.
I think it was not. Well, it is England, yes.
And that would be Jess Park off.
Naz?
And Michelle Aguiman on for her England debut. I mean, it's a lovely moment for Aguiman. She's going to get her England debut. We are a few months out from a tournament, though.
Yeah, why not? We're 3-1 down this game with 10 minutes to go. She's called in as a backup replacement.
She's got a brace now. She's on the plane.
Oh, yeah.
Ball
Here
in.
you go.
Bronze heads it.
No, I took it off her.
Aguiman keeps it alive. Walsh.
She has 10 minutes. That's all she's ever going to get to prove if she should ever play for England.
Very, very good player, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like,
we saw
this
that.
year.
Yeah, no, I know. It was only a comment in jest. Aguiman brings down. Wow! Wow! What a goal from Michelle Aguiman!
Get on the plane!
Get on the plane! Belgium 3, England 2. Struck well on the volley. On the half volley. Touch and strike from Aguiman. And England handed a lifeline from the bench.
Get her on the plane! What a strike that is! That is a brilliant effort.
And I rescind
To the first
my
touch of the
earlier
ball.
opposition to a substitution.
Off the knee, on the volley. Wow. Game on. And as England, we still believe. 10 minutes to go. England fans are back on their feet. Basil's going with he's got a, what do you call it? I can't remember what they're called now. The Vuvuzelas. Is it Vuvuzela? Yeah, maybe.
Kazoo?
Kazoo, that's right. He's got his kazoo.
Not in Brazil.
Yeah, he's definitely got
Aguiman
one.
could have become one of the first players, possibly the first player to score with her first England touch, but she had to take 2 for that one.
Yeah.
So
9 minutes for England to find an equaliser and then a winner. Come on. What a strike.
Yeah, brilliant player.
International debut goal. What more could you want? That is so silly from Ella Toom. That is so silly. When your team are chasing the game, Janice came and takes a heavy touch and it is running onto bronze and Toom just takes her out. What is she doing? Silly. So silly. That's frustrating. You've just built momentum. Bronze about to pounce onto that heavy touch and run with the ball and Toom just lumps into Cayman for a laugh. Well, it's not very funny.
Well, either Belgium are really happy about that free kick, or they're getting some sort of thunderclap going.
England goal kick, 8 minutes, 2 goals. Can they do it? Maybe.
Gaston believes we can draw. Alex Sinclair says that goal deserves a draw.
Ryan says, bloody hell, what a way to make your debut. Indeed it is. Here's Jess Carter.
I bet she'd have been
Inside
well chuffed
to
to get on,
Walsh.
Get on the plane.
Toon Williamson. Now it's Aggie Beaver Jones. Comes inside with the ball. Aguimang. Ball runs through for Walsh. Aguimang takes aim. Blocked. Cleared away.
Get her on the plane. Get me an Aguimang shirt for the Euros.
And that is a hell of a ball. And
Mead will
something
get there.
that Mead will get to.
Brilliant.
Now Carter. Walsh. And Morgan. Toon. Morgan again. Here's Ella Toon. Now Jess Carter. Looks to beat the player. Is brought down there. Free kick for England.
Really good stuff from Carter. Not using pace to burst away, but physicality.
Yeah.
And again, I think it's she. Oh, I bet.
It's that trailing leg though from the
Yeah,
Belgian
to be
player.
fair.
I don't think she's gonna make complaints.
Nah, it did look more deliberate than I first thought it was.
Was it bomb?
Don't.
Don't.
England free kick. Massive
Check it
chance
out.
this. I'm not going to take it again because there's a bit of pushing and shoving going on
Yeah.
between Morgan in there, I think. England for a leveller.
Ball into the area. Headed back across goal. Over the bar. And that is a disappointing waste of an opportunity there from England.
You know, I don't think in this situation you go for the deep one and put it back across the box. Just get it in there. Put it in the central area.
Oh, well, Williamson's just got to get that right.
Oh yeah, that's the other option. Time running out for England to turn this game around.
Indeed. Player Arsenal says Yi Chen. Well, you'd think she'll be involved in the squad next season.
Aaron Russo in rotation. Wow.
I think she's done enough of fleeting minutes at Brighton. And
Oh, that's a silly foul though.
just praising your argument. What was
Yeah.
that?
Why should that?
Yeah, I think there's definitely an opportunity for her. I imagine she'll be given a chance to prove herself this summer for Slagers.
Yeah.
And if she plays like that,
Yeah.
bringing the ball down and volleying it home, then she'll have no choice, Slagers, but to keep her in the first team.
Yeah.
And I think if they are looking at undergoing a bit of a upgrade in the squad this summer, I wouldn't be surprised if Sina Blackstenius is a player who is moved on.
Mm.
And if they can avoid having to go and spend on a striker by promoting Michelle Aguimang, I think they'll take that.
Yeah.
Safe in the knowledge, of course, that someone like Mead could cover in that position if worse comes to worse.
And that Russo has showed no signs of stopping.
Yeah, indeed. Nice drive. Belgium coming forwards. Janssens finds Don't. Blocked well by Morgan out low for a corner.
Yeah, good from Belgium to do what they need to do. England, who they ran out of steam. Belgium getting the fans going, who respond. Fair enough. It's a strong, it's a very decent crowd, and Belgium have played very, very well tonight. And that's the thing. You can look at this too. A lot of this is where the difference in England fans will come. People look at it and go tonight. Well, we responded well in the second half, and we got close to pulling it back, and we might still in these next few minutes. You can also look at it and go, we were rubbish. We scored a penalty and a worldie, and that was it.
Yeah.
We will see. 3 minutes now. Big 3 minutes.
You could also say it's the Nations League and the players have got more important games and it's
Yeah.
not going to form any overarching opinions based on this. Just depends on how rational you want to view the game. And my Belgium are time wasting in this corner.
Smart. Can't blame them.
This is a yellow card.
Yeah. You can't. You just stand there with the ball under your arm barking orders.
Erlings. Can't try on the ball back. That's given England's way.
That is going to be a yellow card now.
Player screams in the face of the line out.
It's Toylands again.
But again, that needs to be 2 yellows.
Yeah.
Time wasting, quite blatant time wasting, and then shouting in the face of the referee, assistant referee.
And then the referee, on her enthusiasm to go over and book her, barreled into another Belgian player and knocked her over.
She does run everywhere. She doesn't drink like 10 Red Bulls before a game.
Yeah.
If she stops running, she's going to feel the effects of just gunning it around. Walsh. Carter.
Good.
Esme Morgan.
Oh, it's
Top
got to
in
be a
there.
better pass. Well
Back by
recovered.
Morgan, good tackle. England unable though to pick up on those scraps from that. Cleared there. Belgian keeper.
England running out of time.
Feels like there isn't enough time for England, but we'll see. Williamson. The wonder ball was on there. She doesn't go for it. Kirby. Beaver Jones. Aguiman tries to poke it at Kirby. Intercepted. And I'm not sure Tissiak knew much about that interception.
Fine margins. Fine margins. Really good again from Aguiman.
Oba cheering on the Lionesses in chat, telling them to keep it up. Well, they need to play better, really, would be the message.
Yeah. Don't think we'll get too much added time. I think we'll get a decent couple of minutes, but I don't think we're going to get...
Belgium have wasted a while.
They have, I think we could see 3 or 4. I don't think we're going
Beaver
to...
Jones.
That's a good ball in.
Oh, Bronze, that's
Ooh.
pushed away. Just didn't settle nicely for Carter there. Walsh keeps it alive. Ella Toon strikes it. And it's wide.
Wow. He just didn't settle for Walsh. 4 minutes. And then Toon's effort just wide. 4 minutes for England to find a level up. And how many times Spain did heroically against Belgium and find 2 goals to put it back in added time. Well, Belgium are going to do their best to make another change to just try and run down this clock.
We'll see Ella Toon hit the target with some of these efforts. Got to test the keeper.
She's having efforts. That, that's
No, I
something.
know, but it just feels wasteful. There's about 3 or 4 of those now where she's just struck it from range, and you've got to trouble the keeper. But with the Belgian keeper, and at the moment we all watch Toylings take her
Send her
time
off.
going off the pitch.
There's a note come on as well.
I mean, that is, again, she walked there for a good 30 seconds, and now she's stopping for everyone.
Clatting the fans. I get it's a big win for them, but she is celebrating like she's just come off of the World Cup final.
It's important for Belgium though. They stay
is.
in that. If they can win today, they'll be a point off Portugal. There's a much better chance they stay in the top division. But
I have no idea what's currently happening. Oh, there was a bit of a fight.
Beaver
because-
Jones took the note, and Tissiak didn't like that.
I love that from Aggie.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're holding it out like
Just
this.
reading it, yeah. Beaver Jones takes it.
Someone's saying your response is to just attack them.
I rate it.
It should be written in Belgium, in which case Aggie Beaver Jones isn't going to read it anyway.
Well, she's now trying to pick up one of the Belgium's many substitutions who has been booked and has gone down holding her face. To which Walsh went, just get up.
Yeah.
What actually happened? Oh, it's Morgan. I have no idea what's going on. The referee has basically just got a yellow card out and is just waving it around, and no one has any idea. England have got a free kick. Hannah Hampton on the halfway line. All 10 England outfielders are into the penalty area. Blom also got booked. So did Morgan.
And Hampton pings it up pitch. It's headed away in there. Morgan will try and get there.
Oh, that's silly.
Throws Blom on the floor. Acts frustrated.
Could get away with it.
It's don't just hit the deck.
Got to be careful there, Morgan, because
Yeah.
that's very easily a second yellow card.
That is a second
That is
yellow.
a second yellow card. I'm not really sure that's not been given, but we'll just run away. Minute to play. Disappointing for England. No matter what the result is, even if they pull it back for a point.
That's a 1-2, pushing the back there from Tessa Woolley. Ball's been
gonna
kicked
pull
away
away.
there. Rash's just lost control of it at this
Yeah.
point in the game. She's thrown the yellow card around. She's
Because she
charging
runs
into
Because
people.
she runs in at everything, she misses other things. Because she runs in so close to the action, she can't see anything else that's happening around her. That's a good flick
Ball
on.
flicked on. Aguimang will try and keep it
Into
alive.
corner.
She wins a corner. England can use this. This is going to be the last
Yeah.
chance you feel. Unless the ref considers the amount of time that's been wasted here.
Oh, I think she'll get on with it.
Yeah, I think she...
Hampton's going in. Everyone's
Oh,
going in
Hannah
by
Hampton
Jess
go.
Carter.
Hampton goal lifts the roof of this place. Ball into the box. It's playing by the
Oh, you
goalkeeper.
don't
Two
put it
plays
on the
for
keeper. Last kick of the game, you've got a corner. The one thing you do is you keep it on the pitch and you keep it away from the goalkeeper.
Well, unless you got your tallest player on the keeper, but we didn't there. It's Kirby, wasn't it? Nearer.
Yeah. What a mess.
Ball goes long. And the ref will let this game play. There has been a lot of time wasting extra time. That will continue now. Belgium in no hurry to collect the ball for a throw-in.
Fans asking the questions. So the Belgian bench, none of them are happy. The fact we now enter the fifth additional minute.
I think it's fair though, because the 4 minutes of
And they've learned
Well,
after
it's not
they've learned their
possible.
lesson after Spain. They got this game. They got this game to be over. Be a
Carter charges it down,
foul written all over it. Just run out of play.
run off and then kick the ball away. The ref's just, again, just lost
Yeah.
control in this.
Off she goes again. Run in, run in, run in. England have got to go. Ball's got to go up. Just moving it too slowly. The ball's got to go in that box.
And that is full time here in Leuven. Belgium 3, England 2. A huge victory for Belgium at home as they give themselves hope that they may be able to survive in League A of the UEFA Women's Nations League. A disappointing result for an England side who weren't playing with full gusto, but regardless, a really important one, a really important victory for Belgium.
Yeah, credit to Belgium. They played very, very well today. They were absolutely superb. They caused England a lot of problems in attacking areas and did very, very well to bounce back from that 5-0 defeat on Friday. Credit to Belgium. They're a big 3 points to them as well, as they hope to try and stay in League A of the Nations League. For England, it is a very, very disappointing loss. It's a defeat that was very unnecessary. It should have been a much, much better performance. At the end of the day, though, an explainable loss isn't always a terrible one, because that we can find reasons as to why England lost today, and they are the fact that England didn't give it 100%, the fact that it was very slow and lethargic, and that players didn't really seem to care. They're reasons that will be ironed out very easily in the more competitive and in the more meaningful games. So from an England point of view, it is just frustrating. It's disappointing, but it's meaningless really for the course of the season and for the major tournaments.
Yeah.
For Belgium, though, what a performance, what a result, and credit to them.
Yeah, we're back tomorrow to analyse this in more detail. But I think international break where England looked really sharp in one game and lethargic in the other. But I
Yeah.
think what we've seen is that when England want it, when England are on their game, they're an incredibly difficult team to beat.
Yeah.
But when they're not, there are gaps. There
Yeah.
are worries. I think at the moment I'm still, you go into this Euros with a balanced view. I don't think England are the clear favourites, but I don't think it's a lost cause. So, obviously, as with most things in life, the extremes are probably wrong, and it's somewhere in the middle where I think England have a very good chance this tournament, but there are still issues need to be addressed. And they aren't just that we were tired in this game. I think there were structural issues and there were problems in that regard. The fact that Tessa Woolley was able to make those runs and get in behind so easily, I think will be a concern to Wiegman, or at least I hope it's a concern to Wiegman and her backroom staff, because I think if we can identify that, they surely will be able to as well. But yeah, as I say, we'll be back tomorrow to analyse it in a bit more detail. Other than that, we are out of the internationals now, which for some will be disappointing, for others it is a moment of joy as we get back to domestic action this weekend. The Women's FA Cup semi-finals, Chelsea versus Liverpool on Saturday and the Manchester Derby on Sunday. So very exciting times ahead. Other than that, we'll have a video out tomorrow, as I say, reviewing the international break. We'll be previewing those FA Cup semi-finals on Friday, and a little hint towards next week, we may be doing another hot takes video. So if you get into the Discord, it's linked in the description, go to the Discord, get involved in the hot takes channel, give your hot takes. We may be reviewing them in a video very soon, so look out for that. Other than that, though, thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.